Hello, Setchbuchi. How you doing? Uh, I will get that money out later this week for you. So you just have to be patient. I had to cancel a card because of somebody tried to commit fraud with my bank account, and so I had to cancel. I'm waiting on the new card, and so when I get that, then I'll send that money out. Uh, so that's what's going on there, Setchbuchi. Just to let you know. Uh, I know you said to send it to Elvie, so I will. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man? Well, it's a little early. Yeah, well, Merry Christmas in the Philippines. Yeah, it's not too early for that. Uh, we all know they start celebrating on the 1st of September. So, yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody in the Philippines. Uh, now, Mike, when is your guys' Thanksgivings? Isn't that this month for you guys? And your Thanksgiving in October? Ours is in November. I think you guys, I know you celebrate at a different time than we do. Uh, so I don't know for sure when your uh, Thanksgiving is. I know it's coming, but it's not there yet. Well, it might be there for you guys. But am I right though, Mike? You celebrate Thanksgiving in November? I mean October. Excuse me. I know it's a different time than what we celebrate ours. And Setchbuchi, Thanksgiving is a holiday that's mostly just, as far as I know, is celebrated only in the United States and Canada. Uh, and like I said, we celebrate it at different times. Uh, we celebrated here in the United States, just giving thanks for. Well, it went back to when we first got here. Yeah, Mike. I had it happen once, and I was able to stop the company that tried it. So I've been checking my account almost every day, and another company tried to do it. So I think it might have been another company connected with the first one, and they had put a flag on it and hadn't paid it. And I called them up and told them, no, I have no clue who this company is. And it was like they trying to put it in that day, and I hadn't bought anything, with that card in 4 days. I did have an automatic charge come in, and I told them that charge is legal because that's a monthly reoccurring charge. So some of those I have to, after I get my new card, I have to go in there and tell them, hey, here's my new card number. Start charging this card number instead of the one before I canceled that card. So I have to go in there and give them the new number, the new expiration date, and the new security code. But I don't have any of those due until after I'm supposed to get this new card. I mean, they're not. None of those are supposed to be due till late next week, and I should have that first to the middle of this coming week. Anywhere from Monday to probably Wednesday should come in. I know it's on the way. They already contacted me, told me it's on the way. So it just depends on how long it takes the mail for it to get to me. And I figure Monday, Tuesday, probably at the latest, but it may be as late as Wednesday. Depends on where it's being mailed from, and which is fine. It won't affect anything until I'll be able to correct everything before it affects anything. So, like my PayPal account is connected to that card, so I can't use the PayPal account because that card's no longer good. My electric bill's connected to that card. I automatically pay my electric bill with it. So that's already paid. It's not due till after late this week. So I'll get the new card in before that. So I'll call and let them know. And there's a couple other things that automatically charge. And this card is my bank card. It's not a credit card. But I use the bank card number instead of my credit card. I mean, my bank account number. So if something like this happens, They're not getting into the bank account itself. Well, we don't here. They don't make up the cards. We here, at least none of the banks I deal with makes up their own card. They have a central location that makes up the card for all the connecting banks. So, like Bank of America has one credit card. They have one place that makes their cards. KeyBank has one that does theirs. Chase Bank does one. And I have been connected to all those banks along with merchants and a couple others. Now, I don't have some of those. Hey, Tim, how you doing, man? And well, you use your debit card like a credit card, but it's not a credit card because it comes directly out of your bank account. I have both bank cards, which is like a ATM card, which is you can use like a credit card, and I have regular credit cards. And I use my bank cards for monthly bills, unless it's connected to that credit card. But none of my credit cards really have a monthly bill. If I use them right now, I got one credit card I'll have paid off. LV, 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 LV. Welcome. Dens, how you doing? Like I said, right now, outside the one credit card, I got them all paid off. I'll have the one credit card paid off the end of this month. I'll have it paid off. And then after this, every month, I'll pay off whatever I spend that month will be paid that month. I mean, there will be no revolving debt. It'll be paid off every month. That's the way I'm doing the others, and I'll do all of them this way. So, like I said, I'll be able to pay the one off this month at the end of the month. I could probably do it before that, but I'll wait till it's due, and then I'll pay I'll pay the balance. Whatever the balance is getting paid. I'll pay the full balance. I'll have the money. Won't have a lot over that, but I'll have the money, so I'll get that paid off, and no more reoccurring interest loans or interest due. I'll leave this door open, and so that's one thing I'm trying to get done, and we'll get that done. But that happened this past week. It just happened, and I was at work. I always check my accounts while I'm at work. I go online. I have the apps on my phone, so I can go in and check my bank. And I have more than one bank. I go in and check my bank accounts, and it's always been this one. It's always been this one bank and that's my fault that it's happened to. But I've always been misfortunate enough with this one. My other bank account, I've been fortunate enough that I've not made any mistakes with it, so I haven't had to get new cards because of reoccurring fraud. I think I did a video on the one where I was driving to see my sister up in Rochester area. She lives in a little town called Elba, right outside of Batavia. Batavia's halfway between Rochester and Buffalo. Mike, you might know where Batavia's at. I know you know where Buffalo and Rochester are. Batavia's almost dead center between the two. She lives right outside of Batavia. And I was driving up to see her from where I live, and I get this call from somebody. They're, I want to say they were PayPal. And they said, well, somebody tried to charge, I forget how much money, about $3,000 or something on something. And they wanted to know if that was me. And I said, no, that's not me. And they had enough information to make me think they were actually calling from whoever they were calling from. And like I said, I want to make sure it was PayPal. And so I'm talking with them. I'm driving, so I'm a little distracted as well. I have Bluetooth, so I mean, I'm not handling the phone or anything. I'm just talking to the radio. So I'm trying to watch the road as they're talking. And where they made a mistake is they wanted me to have a lot more money transferred to them to prove that the thing's working. than what it cost me. It didn't cost me, but what I had to transfer to PayPal when I started it, and that money was left there for me to use. It was like $5, I think, the first time. I'm not going to say how many. Uh, well over $1,000. Let me put it that way. They wanted me to transfer to them, and they didn't want me to tell the bank what was going on. And I said, "Oh, sure, no problem, no problem. I'll do that here as soon as I get a chance." And so he hung up, and I called the bank and told them to cancel everything. And they said, "Well, we have these charges here," and they read off the charges. 2 of them were food deliveries. I guess they just want to make sure the card worked. I said, "No." I said, "Ma'am, I'm on the road. I'm not at home. I didn't order any food at all." And they mentioned another bill, which was quite a bit more, but that was a legit bill. It's a bill that I went to a medical healthcare place, and I had some tests done. And so it was a bill that I had to pay my share. And they mentioned that place. And I said, "No, ma'am." I said, "That's me. That's a legitimate charge." And so they canceled the 2 fraudulent charges for food. I think it was one was Grubhub, and the other one was another food delivery thing. But there was 2 different food delivery things. And I said, "Well, you won't have to pay that, because like I said, as soon as I hung up with that guy, I called and told him what was going on. And so they canceled my card, and they offered to give me what they call a card that I could. It's called a wallet card. Something. It's a temporary. You have all the information in your phone. But anyway, I told him, "No, go ahead and keep that." I said, I'm not that worried about it. I'm doing well enough that I can get by without the card for the time it takes to get it. And they offered the same thing this time. And I said, "No." I said, "It's not going to be that long. All my bills are already paid. I got to worry about, and I'll get this card in time to change everything over before the next bills are due. So there's no sense getting it." Because like I said, I still have the other bank account, which if I really need to, I can use it, but it's used for something else. It's used for my daily living outside of, like I said, my electric bill's paid off out of this one, but my rent and everything, my food, everything else comes out of the other bank account. And I want to keep it that way, because once I get the credit cards paid off, outside of the bills I got set up to come out of this one directly, we'll no longer use that one for paying any bills. It's going to be my savings. I'm going to start saving that money. So I may switch PayPal over to my other bank account. I just haven't got around to it yet. And I may not, because I really don't put that much on PayPal at any one time. But yeah, that's what I got to deal with this week. Today I had to go into the main office for my annual New York guard card training. We have to do 8 hours of training at the office, required by state, so they don't have to pay us for it. But we have to go in every year for 8 hours training. Now, the class size was supposed to be 10 people today. There was only 3 of us. So we got through the class in about 6 hours instead of 8. Fewer people. And we didn't take a lunch break. We just went straight through. So we got done quicker. Yeah, I'll have everything paid off here pretty soon, LV. And then I start saving money. So when I do retire, I'll be able to move to the Philippines. That's what that account's being set aside for. The money in that, like I said, the money in that account, that's what it's going to go towards my retirement savings to move to the Philippines. My other account, I make more money on, but it's got my car payment coming out of it, my rent. So there's a lot more bills that's going to stay on that one. And I may even change a few other bills over to it as well, so I can save more money. Because I really do want to build up my savings. So let's say I get over to the Philippines and for some reason my retirement gets held up. I want to be able to live off what I got in the bank account for months if I need to. And so that's my goal. I got to build that up. So if something, and then also it'll be my emergency fund. If something happens and I have to uh, go to the hospital, spend a lot of money, I'll have that. Or if I have to go back to the States for some reason, I'll have the money to do it. That's something a lot of the vloggers that I follow that talk about moving to the Philippines from the West, they talk about that emergency fund that, for your health and to live for a month or two, and then to have the money to go back home. And I'm going to have more than what they say is the minimum. I'm going to have hopefully a lot more than what they call the minimum to have for emergency fund. But if everything goes right, it won't take me much more than a year to build that up. And I'm not talking about having what I'm living off here in the States. I'm talking about what I'll be living off of in the Philippines, because Mike, and the girls probably know, or some of them at least know, it's a lot cheaper to live in the Philippines than here in the States. Where I'm living right now is a fairly cheap place to live in my area. It's a nice place. Don't get me wrong. There's places out there that aren't as nice as mine, and they charge as much, if not more, than what I'm paying. I got lucky. I found a place that was an older place that's decent. And now a new company has bought them out, and when people move out, they're remodeling the apartments, and they're doing a real nice job on it. But they're charging a whole lot more money than what I'm paying. So I'll stay right here in this apartment and save that $400 or $500 a month. I mean, they're really jacking the rates up. Which when I've walked in and I've walked into them, I haven't did any videos on them. I don't think it's right. Maybe I will someday. But they do look nice compared to what I have. And I mean, they're changed. Like in my apartment, the only lights that I have that they had here already was the bathroom lights and a hall light and the kitchen light. That's it. There is no light in the living room that they provided. There is no light in my bedroom that they provided. I had to provide those lights. Now, I don't know about the bedroom in these new apartments, but I have looked into the living rooms, and they have lights in the ceilings, and they look nice. They've changed the flooring, and I like the new flooring better. They're going through checking the wiring. Matter of fact, they're going to check all the buildings, wiring, the electrical switches and stuff this Tuesday. And they let us know, they gave us a notice that the state inspector is going to come in and check out all the electrical systems to make sure everything's working properly. If not, then they'll get it fixed. But they're going to come in on Tuesday, the 15th. And they give you the hours, and they say if you got a deadlock, leave it unlocked, because you don't get the deadlock through them. You have to put that in yourself. And you can do that if you want. With the door lock, they have a master key to get in. And when they're coming in, I'll be at work. They may be at my place when I get home, but I doubt it. They'll probably be long past my place by the time I get home. But they say if any work needs to be done, they'll contact you and let you know. I have two lights in my living room, and I put both of them in. There's a light in the dining area, but where you sit and watch TV, where you sit and talk to each other, there is no lights. I had to put those in. But they're lamps. I have a couple of lamps, and I only use one lamp most of the time. The others I don't use. My bedroom, I have lamps, but there is no light that they gave me. Like I said, where you put your dining room table, there's a light over it, and that's it. And that does not light up the area where I sit at. Where my chair is at and my TV's at, it doesn't light that up. You get a little bit of light from it, but not much. Like I said, the new apartments, they have lights up in the ceilings, and they're kind of like a recess, which means they're inside the ceiling a little bit, from what I saw. And they look like they would light up the place pretty good. So yeah, you have to use lamps, and I don't mind that. I mean, it's nothing against that. I'm just saying that's something different. You there's a light switch as soon as you walk into my apartment that you can flip up, and whatever you got plugged into that socket will come on. So that's where my light by my chair is at. It's plugged. I run an extension cord over to that outlet, so when I turn that light on, the light comes on by my chair. So if I come in and it's dark out, I can turn a light on and have light as soon as I walk into the apartment. All the other lights, you got to go in and in the dark and find them if you don't have that light plugged into that one socket, because it's only the one socket that switch works for. But like I said, I got my light plugged into it, and yeah, I do control my electric bill. On the days I work, I usually turn the heat down if during the winter, so it's not staying way up like I have it when I'm home. And the same thing. Well, a lot of times I just turn the air conditioner off when I'm at work during the summer, because I'm gone for almost 12 hours, and it really doesn't make sense to me to run that air conditioner to keep it down the temperature I like when I get home. I can come home, turn the air conditioner on, walk down, get my mail, do a few other things, and get back in. Because if it's really hot, even though my air conditioner is not sitting where I normally have it, it's still cooler than the outside. And it doesn't take long to cool off where I'm sitting at, because I'm sitting next to the air conditioner and the heat. That's where my chair's at. It's really close to it, so that area gets cooled off a little quicker. So, and you can see I said something about there's heat, there's heat, or I have heat again, something like that, one of my videos. And that's when they were putting in the new air conditioner heater unit. It's kind of like your split air cons in the Philippines. It's all one unit though, and it does the heat and I'll tell you in a minute. It does the heat and the air conditioning both. It's all one unit, and so. But there is that one video. It's a short video. There's two that shows the two guys putting it in. I asked them before I videoed them if they cared, and they said it was all right with them. They're with the new owners group, so they'll be coming in and doing some work in December in here for me. Some work I have scheduled. Hey, Bruce Davis, how you doing, man? Anybody wants to come up? The top of the chat is the button you can hit to come up. And so anyway, that's what's going on right now. Like I said, I had a day I ate my breakfast before I went to work and didn't eat until I got home. Like I said, the training class lasted, it was from 10 to, what was it, 10 o'clock to almost 4 o'clock by the time we actually got out of the classroom. Yeah, it's kind of like a counterpart. It's all one unit, though. It's air conditioned and heater all in one. And it's a little bit bigger than a lot of those air cons you have, because like I said, it does two jobs in one. But yeah, it's in there. I forget which one it is, but there's a video in there showing them something about I have heat or something like that. I don't think it's a short. It might have been, but I don't think it was a short. But it wasn't very long, whether it was a short or not. Yeah, because lucky for me, it was in the fall where it didn't get real cold at night. I was able to throw a blanket on and stay warm enough that way sleeping. And I have a base heater in my bedroom. Hey, Rhoda. And the base heater in the bedroom was still working. It just, you had to keep your door shut so you keep the heat in. And but it was only like 2 days or 1 or 2 days that it was out. Once I told them about it, they had to get a new one in. They didn't have one on. That's why it took as long as it did. They had to order a new one and have it cut. And then as soon as it came in, they worked overtime to put it in, because it was after their normal work hours to put that in. And because usually I wouldn't be home when they done it. They would do it while I was working. But I was lucky enough I was home, so I did a video on it. Yeah, Elvie, today was actually a warm day for this time of year. It got up in the upper 60s tomorrow, but it's been down in the upper 30s and 40s for a low most of this week. Now, today it only got down in the 50s this morning, but it didn't, like I said, it only got up to upper 60s today. It's supposed to be cooler again tomorrow and rainy. Let's see if I can see what. No, that's an old one. Yeah, tomorrow the high is only supposed to be about 46 degrees Fahrenheit. You can do the conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius. That would probably be about what? 46 degrees might be 10 Celsius. 10 or 11 Celsius, something like that. Mike, do you know what that would be? But so yeah, it's going to be pretty cool tomorrow. But I got my jacket and my gloves. I'm going to do my laundry tomorrow. I would have done it today because the way they were calling for the weather tomorrow, but I had that training class I had to go to, and I got home and I didn't feel like doing it, so I just didn't. And like I said, by the time I got home, because I had to go buy gas, I had to I had to go to the grocery store. By the time I got home, it was after 5 o'clock, and so I had to fix my supper yet. I had to, and it just wasn't going to give me enough time to do all that. If it did, it would have been everything had to fall perfectly, and so I didn't want to take that chance. And so we did that. And I've been doing my laundry mostly on Sundays anyway. And so anyway, that was my day today. It was a pretty good day, actually. Like I said, the weather was not fairly nice. Now, if you were in the shade, it was a little cool with the wind blowing, but if you were in the sun, it felt good. And I was in the shade some that I went back got my car. I was like, no. Because I was waiting for the guys to get there to open up because I couldn't go in because the doors were locked. I had to wait on the trainer to get there. And so I did, after he got there, we got out and we just, four of us, the three, me and the trainer, we stood around and talked until it was time to go in. Actually, it was after time. We were waiting to see, because there was, like I said, there was supposed to be 10 of us, and only 3 of us showed up for the class, plus the instructor. There's supposed to have been 10 plus the instructor. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Elvie. I prefer rain over snow, and I prefer snow over ice. But I would prefer to do my laundry when it wasn't raining. So hopefully it won't be an all-day rain. And I only got one load to do tomorrow. I have to do my permanent press. Although I did find out another bit of good news today. I only had 2-day weekend because I had to work Friday because the guy's car broke down. And so they don't like to pay us overtime, so I had to take a day off this week. That's normally a day I work. I'm getting Thursday off, which means I'll have a 4-day weekend next weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to have 4 days off. I'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hey, Melinda, how you doing? Welcome. And so, well, hello to you, Melinda, from Waterville, New York, just outside of the capital of Albany. And a lot of my people that are in here right now, outside of Mike, married to a beautiful woman who's from Canada. Most of the others are from the Philippines, including this gentleman that's joining me right now. Hey, Dan. How's everything going?
It's going well. How's it going?
Not bad, not bad. I was just telling some of the people I had to cancel a bank card because I had somebody try to make a fraudulent charge on it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I had to cancel that. So I'm waiting on my new bank card. And that's one that I have a lot of my bills based on. I have two bank accounts, two different banks. And this is the one that I have a lot of my auto payments on. And not all of them, but it has quite a few. So lucky for me, all the ones that are due are paid already, and I'll get the new card before the others are due again.
Right.
And I'll be able to call them and let them know what's going on and give them the new numbers. But this is also the one I have my PayPal account through, so can't use it because I don't give out the bank itself information. Whoa, what happened, Dan? Dan just shut himself down for some reason. I have no clue why. Hopefully he'll come back up. But so we did that. But yeah, it's not bad. Everything's going along pretty good. Let's see if Dan comes back up. I don't know. Maybe he had a phone call coming and he had to take it. Those things happen. This is not his stream, so people don't know he joined in. And yes, that's why I got to wait till I get the new card so I can go in and give them the right information. Because if I try to use it right now, they would try to charge the card that's been closed, and they would not like me doing that. And so I understand. It's just something I have to live with until I can get it straightened out. But like I said, at the end of this month, I'm going to be real happy because my last credit, now this is a credit card, not a bank card. My last credit card will finally be paid off. And from this on, hey, Sachbushi, how you doing? From this time on, after this one's paid off, every month, all the cards will be paid off. And so that's just the way I'm going to work this. And hey, Maris, how you doing? And I will try to, like I said, I will try to do it all from the one account that I got the most money going into, because it costs more to live, and there should be enough to. If not, then I'll dip into this one a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, I know even if I keep things the way they are, I'll be able to save a lot of money because I'm not putting out trying to get that bill paid off. And I'm not going to say how much I pay every month to get it paid off, but it's been quite a bit. I've been throwing huge chunks of change at it because I want it gone. And yeah, it's been the toughest thing. I'm the kind of person that I like to spend money. I've always been that way. I've never worried about debt. And that is a problem. Let me tell you. Yeah, we got Dan coming back up. Dan, what happened?
I don't know. I'm pushing buttons and pulling toggles and
You
all
hit the
kind
wrong button.
Stuff, you know.
You kicked yourself out.
Yeah. No, I know I did. I was setting up another phone to see the chat. I don't know how to work this thing. I'm low tech. I'm low tech Dan.
I got my computer set up, and then I got my other phone set up to see the chat.
Hi, Bruce. How's it going, Bruce?
But I can see the chat from either one. But I just do it this way because I can respond on one, and also gives me more views if I use my Ninja channel as well.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so we're getting ready to take off tomorrow for LA.
Okay, I knew it was coming soon.
Yeah, look at this though. What happened though? I got my Amazon order. It came in yesterday evening, and so which is very nice because I have the smart battery camera that we got.
Yeah.
It's going to be it works on IP, but thing is the signal isn't so great out here. So what we have to do is we have to get a Wi-Fi repeater And so that's what's on the agenda today. We got to go get a signal booster.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, because I want to do some live streams on the run, you know. And so
Yeah.
we got Tim was criticizing me saying you need a gimbal.
Yeah,
So
you
I
got a
got
gimbal there.
Yeah, we got a gimbal. It's a beginner gimbal because
That's what I have, but
I'm
I don't use it.
yeah, I'm a beginner, you know. So
Well,
I'm
like
gonna
I said,
try.
I got a beginner gimbal that I used to use all the time,
Uh-huh.
but I hardly ever use it anymore. But I don't do
Yeah,
a lot of walking around videos anymore either.
you know the problem is you see how the table's shaking and stuff
Yeah.
on this. I'm using a regular selfie stick over here, talking to you right now on the camera, and it
Yeah.
just bugs the hell out of me that it'll pick up every shake and vibration, and it's just not very sturdy. And even the most sturdy selfie sticks that we have aren't working very well. So I'm going to try this gimbal out. It wasn't very expensive. It is a DJI gimbal. It was
I got a
less than
DJI.
yeah, it was less than
Jerry,
$100.
Jerry, I call South Texas home, started off with a DJI.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
we'll see how that
It's a good
works.
beginner.
Yeah.
And that charge lasts. I haven't used mine so long. I'd probably have to charge it again before I went out. I'm afraid because it takes a long time for it to die out if you're not using it. And even
That's
if
what
you
somebody
use it,
said.
it takes a while.
That's what I read. Yeah.
Huh?
That's what I read. Yeah, that's what I read on some article about the review saying the battery lasts a long time on it.
Yeah, even in use, it'll last quite a while.
Yeah.
Chris and Sabu used a gimbal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember now, I started following Chris before he did his walking videos. I started following him. He was doing the food reviews and cooking reviews with Unicorn and his daughter,
really?
in other words.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen one or two of them.
You know me, I went back and back in those days. I went back and watched all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught up just before he started doing his live streams. And it's like, well, I like this other stuff. We'll go ahead and watch the live stream. And when he bought his gimbal, he went up and down the steps in his apartment without it to show you what it was like. Then he hooked it up to the gimbal and went up and down. You can see the difference back then. And you could really tell there was a big difference in using that gimbal. And so that's why his videos when he was walking looked so smooth, because he had that gimbal.
Right. Well, that's what I was worried about. We're taking so yeah, I don't know if you've seen the video yet where I was explaining we're gonna fly into LAX. I had so much
you put up today.
I had so much problems booking the flights. I was explaining that I couldn't do it on Starlux website.
You talked about that on your live stream.
Yeah, they wouldn't approve the stupid credit card for one-way trips for one way, and we gotta land in LAX, and then we're departing from San Francisco. So there's a logistical thing involved there, and then we're taking the Amtrak North from LA to Sacramento, and so I wanted to make sure that I was able to capture as much of the scenery on that Amtrak train as we possibly could without vibration. We'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to work out or not. I really don't.
I wouldn't mind taking an Amtrak. The only train I've taken cross country was in China. All right. Back in '99 when I was there. But I've never taken a passenger train. When I say passenger train, I'm talking about sleeper cars and stuff like that. Because I've taken the train from Poughkeepsie, New York, down to New York City. But that's only a couple hours ride. That's not cross country. I'd like to do a cross country one just to do it.
That would be fun.
In the States, I have gone cross country by bus, Greyhound bus. When I say cross country, I should not as like what I want to do with the train. It was like 11, 12-hour ride with a layover from like Indiana to Iowa. Well, actually from Iowa back to Indiana. I was at my cousin's. But I've gone by plane. I've gone by car. I've gone by semi. I haven't done a train yet.
Yeah,
in the
same
States.
here. Same here. I haven't done the Zephyr, the California Zephyr.
Yeah.
You know that train, the California Zephyr, Amtrak,
Yeah, but
and
Look.
so we're gonna go ahead and do that and see how it works out.
I took my first cross country trip in a semi. I was probably about 3 years old.
Mm,
I went with my dad.
with your dad, yeah.
Yeah, my dad was a truck driver cross country. Now I might have been a
Mhm.
little older than that, but I wasn't a whole lot older. And it was just for I think he had a round trip down to Georgia, Florida, or something like that, and back up. And so I went with him when I was a little kid. And I've made a few trips besides that. We got Bruce Davis coming up. Hey, Bruce.
What's up?
And
What's up, Bruce? How's it going?
Hey, it's going.
Good.
there you go. We all got our hats on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always wear a hat.
Well,
Me too.
I don't
got
want
no
to. I don't
hair.
want to blind people, Bruce. See that?
Yeah. I'm getting there. There's mine.
Yeah. You got a
Yeah.
little more up here.
You guys are just older. That's what the hell.
I'm
I'll
the oldest one. I'm the oldest one.
I'll probably end up getting involved back here. I'm having a little issues
no,
with the back.
Back here, I've been bald back here for a lot longer than up here. That back part was gone long before the top part. Back Daddy's in the house. How you doing, sir?
You know, I was gonna tell Dan, you want a good. I did Starlux the first time I came here,
Yeah.
and they were good.
Yeah, we booked with Starlux.
Oh, you did? Okay. I say
Yeah.
try Eve when you come back. Try Eve.
We
Eve
were gonna do
Air.
it that way. I'll tell you what, we were thinking about doing it that way. I've flown them also, and I liked them because I like half the plane as cargo and half the plane as passenger. They know how to make money. EVA. Yeah.
Eva?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That's how I would pronounce it.
I
Eva.
had a same job in Seattle. All I had to do was take the bus.
It's impressive airline. But of course, you know the connection between them and Starlux. That's the son. That's the son's airline, and EVA is the father's. But you just can't beat that 8.9. Plus, they check in they assign seats upon check-in, which I really like. Because I could get in there and I could pay the extra $100 for Man Mini and I, and then we could get the premium seats up there by the bulkhead, right there by the bathroom and where the exits are. Those are the most comfortable seats in coach, huh?
Do they fly nonstop?
Well, they have an hour 40-minute layover both ways in Taipei.
I think I'll try to get one of those that have nonstops or very short layovers.
Well,
like you have.
I had a lot longer this time, but in Taipei. But I'm going to tell you something. Taipei, once you get the hang of it, 2 times a day, you'll literally get the hang of it. Like this is how funny it was. They did to me. They had booked my flight up, so I got to leave at 11:30. And then because of that, I got in at 3:30, and so I didn't leave until actually around I think it was 10 o'clock or something. Whatever it was like close to 10 o'clock, and we got in at about 11:20 in Clark.
Now I got to talk to Tim. I got to talk to Tim for a moment. He says he thinks wearing hats contribute to hair loss. I didn't start wearing hats a lot until I started losing my hair.
Yeah.
And my younger brother almost wore hats all the time.
You
and
know
he
what?
had more hair longer than I did.
The hair thing doesn't bother me. People say, "Oh my God, you're losing your hair. You need to go to Thailand and get a hair transplant." Really? Come on, guys.
That's a waste of money.
I don't know if it is or not. I mean, my friends that have had it done, they're good looking man. But when you get, why would an ugly man like me do it? That's
a waste of money for me.
Yeah.
It'd be better spent having a liposuction for me. You know what liposuction is, right?
Oh hell yeah! I'd rather have the fat sucked out of me than a hair
That's
transplant.
right. I mean, if I'm going to spend that money, I'd rather get liposuction. I mean, come on.
Yeah, suck on this for a while.
Yeah. There's a plenty of fat to take out. Believe me.
They charge you by the pound, though, don't they?
I don't know. I never checked into it. Like I said, I really don't have the money for it. But if I was going to spend the money,
They would get
I was
rich
gonna
off
have
of me.
permanent false teeth put in.
They would get rich off of me. That's hilarious, Larry. What can I say? Bruce, you brought up Clark. Yeah, you brought up Clark. Isn't that the greatest airport in the world?
I like it.
I'm telling you.
I actually like it. It's actually a nice airport.
Yeah. I hate Manila. I hate it. I hate it.
Well, you said Clark, not Manila.
Yeah, Clark.
You said Clark.
You don't want to go to Manila, Larry. You'll lose your mind.
No.
They have direct flights into Cebu. They have direct flights.
You go to Manila, and I guarantee you, it's going to take you all day to get out of that airport.
Yeah, that's what bugs me about it. And plus, they change things around so much. You don't know where you're flying in and flying out of. What terminal am I in? Where am I going? Where do I have to take Philippine Airlines out? It's just too difficult.
The only way I'll fly into Manila is if I'm going to be staying in Manila for a while.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll have a direct flight to Cebu because they have direct flights from, I think, JFK to Cebu.
Yeah, that's right. And we're taking Cebu direct through Taipei to LAX and then back the same way out of San Francisco.
Yeah, but like I said,
so it should work out. I'll let you know.
Yeah, but Tim, like I said, the only way I'm going to use Manila is if I'm going to stay in Manila for a while.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd stay away from it. It's a pain in the ass.
But because I would like to go to Manila and visit.
Well, yeah, if you're a city boy, you're gonna like Manila. I love it. I just don't like the airport. I love the grittiness of it. Especially Ermita. I love Ermita. That's a city right there, boy. I'm telling you.
I don't think I like Manila itself, like BGC and Makati.
It's crowded, man.
That's what I'm saying. I like being right outside of cities where you can go in when you want.
Listen,
and stay away from it.
Angeles great. There's a lot of cars. There was it took us forever from what's that the Ayala Mall
yeah
to get back home on Friday. Like, it was the worst day. But see, we're leaving, and I had to do 2 weeks before my extension, so I had to go do it, so we can leave tonight sometime, whatever, tomorrow morning, so we could leave. So I did that, and that was the worst day. But otherwise, it's crowded, but it actually is less people than it is Manila. And it's easier to walk out here. You can go wherever the hell you want within, you can go to the mall, wherever you want. But like, literally, I was walking every day. Like, it wasn't like congested like it was in Manila. I had a lady almost rip my bag off my thing when we were there to go to the embassy. I was in Manila waiting for our cab to go, and this lady gets out, and I had this lady and somebody just sitting there, like, going towards me. And I finally backed up, and I said, thinking, like, lady, you touch this bag, and I'm gonna throw you into the damn cars. I don't care. Literally, that they were stalking me around. It was a lady and somebody that kept eyeballing, was like a watcher, trying to come at me to get my, to get my backpack, which had my phone and everything else in it. That scared me.
Oh, I can understand that. Like I said, I want to go to Manila because I want to go to the American World War II cemetery there. I want to see that.
Yeah.
And there's a couple, Shalan, but there's a couple things in Manila area I'd like to see. And so I do want to go to Manila, but like I said, unless I want to start off there, I'm flying to Cebu. Now, if I decide, and I may change my mind and start off in Manila for a month or two, then get the hell out and never go back. I haven't decided.
I
It's
love
still up in the air.
Cebu. I need a T-shirt. I love Cebu.
Yeah. Well, Cebu, I think there's a good chance I like Cebu, but there are backup places to go as well. Iloilo is a nice area that, from the videos I've seen of it.
Yeah, you know, these expat enclaves like Iloilo and Dumaguete are getting really expensive. Hey, Jim,
A lot of Iloilo doesn't have. It depends on what part of Iloilo you're in, whether it's expats or not.
We're gonna buy the one at the, and then someone do the one sold at 750 at the Rickmere.
Okay.
Like in Iloilo, if you go to Mega World, that's expensive. Hey, Joe. But if you go to Mega World, which is also in, it's in Iloilo, and it's in, I'm trying to think where else it's at.
There's nothing wrong, Larry, with going to Manila, like to go see like certain things. Like I wanted to do that, but we didn't have time, and just the like a little situation, like okay, that things are gonna happen like that. You're gonna run into stuff. You're gonna whatever. It happens. All right, but yeah, I mean maybe like. I don't know, maybe next year, you know, I wouldn't mind going there and seeing some things, maybe stay, you know, somewhere for a couple days with the wife and
you know what, like Manila,
and Tim's got a good idea. I'll probably go to Clark as well, Tim, to see that veteran cemetery. But I want to see the one in Manila, and I also want to see that Venice Mall in Manila. I don't know how much I'll like it, but it's the one that's got the canal that they got the gondolas. You can take a ride around the inside the mall of the gondola. They got the water there. I'd like to see that. So, like I said, there's a couple things that I'd like to see.
You know, it's got a new Taco Bell there. We went there. It's got a Tim Hortons.
But like I said,
they have a Tim Hortons there.
There's a Tim Hortons there now. Yeah.
Tim says the only reason he goes to Manila is for his medical appointments at the VA clinic.
Yeah, they got a big old, gigantic cup of coffee out front of Tim Hortons.
Hey,
I went in there and tried to buy the cup of coffee. They were none too amused by my antics.
But I like Tim Hortons. Where I'm at, we don't have a Tim Hortons.
It's expensive though in there. It's expensive.
Well, it's expensive here in the States too.
Yeah. If you wanna live the Western, you want to eat Western life, you want to live the Western life, you'll really feel it in your pocket. Believe that. I mean, I know.
For sure.
I did.
For sure, Bruce. Yeah.
Well,
I went all out for 2 months with doing. We had to do all our paperwork to get married. Didn't get married at the time. When I finally come back, we got married. It's like I literally told myself I'm gonna, and it's not just was her. I'm literally gonna go and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. I'm gonna take this girl that I dearly love to death, and I'm gonna show her a good time. And if we went like her, she's the one that helped. For me being in America, she helped facilitated the place, the resort we went to, and. It was like nothing. Like they didn't even come and get the rest of the money for like 10 days. Like I had gave her the deposit and we just sat in our room, back and forth. Nobody come up. She finally goes, okay, hey, I'll keep texting him. Here's the money that we owe you. We still had owed him like $600. And so they finally come and got it. But literally, Larry, we sat in a nice resort with 2 pools, a wave pool and a regular one, a gym, all that kind of stuff. On $200 for 10 days. There's no way you could do that in the US. They would say, give me my money now or you're not going to be here.
$200? You get it maybe 2 days.
Well, no, it was $600 total, but they had a deposit of $200 deposit.
If you spent $200, you get maybe 2 days if you're lucky. If you're at a nice resort. It'd probably be 1 day's cost.
I don't even think $200 would get you in the door for 1 day, maybe maybe
Well,
2 days, maybe.
depends on where you're at now. It does depend. You're right. California
What
would
about
not get
down
me to go her.
What about down where you live at?
You can do it in some areas in New York, but you're not going to do it in New York City. You're not going to do it anywhere near New York City or anywhere near the falls. But you know, if there are some places where you could probably get by for $200 a day. But like I said,
Oh, okay.
a day. Now you can get a nice hotel in my area for less than $100 a day. Now, if you want a Hilton, you're going to spend over $100, but you can have a nice hotel.
God, I tried to book at the Hilton. They want $350 a night in Sacramento.
That's
Hey,
what
you guys,
Yeah.
I gotta go. We
All
gotta
right.
get moving and get packing and stuff like that. Nice seeing everybody.
All right. Have a safe trip,
You,
bud.
man.
Thank
Yeah, have
you.
a safe trip, brother.
And
Yeah.
Tim, like I said, I'll probably visit you when I go to Clark, because that's a place I'd like to see. I don't want to go to Walking Street. At least that night. I'll probably go down during the day just to see it. But it's like Subic Bay. If I go to Subic Bay,
Tim's, here in the city. So when I come back, Tim, if you know you're not busy, man, maybe I'll hit you up on Facebook, and maybe the wife and myself, we could come and meet you and go have some coffee and something to eat if you want. It'll be in November when I have to come back towards the end. I think it's, let's see, the date. Oh, so my extension date from there would be the 27th. So so we'll be back like probably within 3 weeks of tomorrow. So
now have you voted long distance yet?
have I what?
You're in the Philippines right now, right?
Yeah.
Have you voted?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay, I haven't voted yet, but I'm still here in the States. But and Tim says Brucey should be available.
Okay, man. Sounds good.
And like I said, I'd like to go visit Tim myself. There's
Okay, cool, man. Yeah,
there's
Tim's
things
a good guy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's also stuff to do. Like I'll
Yeah.
probably go to Bye where Dan's at, or I'll meet Dan somewhere else. But like I said, right now my plan is to go to Cebu and see how I like it. And I know me, I'm this way. When I first get there, I'm going to love it. I'm going to absolutely love it. So I got to give myself a month or two to get over that, what I call the honeymoon phase. Because like when I moved down here, I absolutely loved the place. There was nothing about it I didn't like. After a couple of months, it's like, okay, I still like it a lot, but that love was gone. And I enjoy being here. I do. But it's, now you see the things that are wrong and the different. But it's like, okay, I still like it. I can handle this. And I got to do that with Cebu. I'm not going to live in the expat bubbles. In other words, I'm not going to live in the business park or IT park. I'm not going to live there. That's more than I want to spend. All right. Cause I'm on the lower end it depends on what you talk about. Some people call it 2,000 or 1,500 to 2,000 a suite. I'm more towards the 2,000, but I'm less than 2,000 a month is what I'll have coming in.
You'll be good, Larry. You'll be able to,
I know I'll be able to live.
you'll be able to find somewhere, and then I know the focus. Knowing how you are, you're not gonna just make a quick decision on something. And I think that people need to learn that. Like, don't make a quick decision on, oh, I'm just gonna stay here, because if you do, you're gonna be like stuck, and that's because once you put down on stuff, you gotta stay.
Well, like I said, I'm going to sign a longer term lease probably than what I probably should in Cebu, because I want to make it my home base, that if I decide I don't like Cebu, I have a place to leave, go check something else, come back, stay till I got the money again to go somewhere else and come back. So that's going to be my jumping off point. So I'll probably sign a longer lease than what some people would recommend. But that's because of my plan is, like I said, I want to check. If I decide I don't like Samu, I want to check out Davao. I want to check out Iloilo. There's some places on Leyte I wouldn't mind checking out, like Ormoc. I don't think I would want to live in Bye, but I want to be, because the better hospitals in Ormoc and this other place. I can't think of how to pronounce the name. Those are the two places I would check out in Leyte because they have the better hospitals. And that's what I worry about. I mean, I want to be near a decent hospital. And that's why I also would consider some areas right outside of Manila. I don't want to be in Manila, but some areas outside of it, because for a couple of reasons, living in Manila costs you a lot more money. If you live outside of it, you can find a nice place to live for less money. And because let's be honest about it, unless you're going to go to the bars and the malls all the time, do you really need to be in a large city? I'm not going to the bars. I mean, that's something I don't want to get in the habit of doing, is going to bars drinking. That's a good way to waste your money and your life. I'm not saying I won't go in the bar and have a beer or two once in a while with some friends, but I don't want to be there every day. I don't even think I want to be there every week. And I definitely don't want a girl that wants to be in the bars all the time. I don't want to date a girl like that. Nothing wrong with her. She might be a nice girl, but that's not the lifestyle I want. So I don't want to be with a woman who wants that lifestyle, because that makes you incompatible.
My lifestyle either, man. That's why
it was my lifestyle. So that's why I said I don't blame the girl. It was my lifestyle when I was younger. When I was in my teens, 20s, and 30s, I was in the bars all the time. But I've lived beyond that. I've gone beyond it. I no longer want to do those things. But like I said, I have a bottle of wine in my refrigerator right now that's been in there since Christmas, unopened. I just rarely drink. Well, I don't drink by myself. And the person that gave me the wine doesn't drink. So I can't have, hey, come over and help me drink this. None of my family, except for my youngest sister, who's back in Indiana, drinks. So, I can't take it to the family and say, hey, let's finish this up, because they don't drink. Now, I shouldn't say that. Now, I got a nephew, and his wife would drink wine, but they live in Florida. I'm in New York. That's a hell of a long way to go to drink a bottle of wine. The last time I had a drink, I was traveling. I was coming back home from Indiana. I was on my way back. I stopped in Erie, Pennsylvania, and this hotel I stopped at, which I usually stop at every time coming back, but this is the only time I did it. I went down to the restaurant on site to get something to eat, and they have a bar, a restaurant, so I got a rum and coke. I had one rum and coke. But I don't drink and drive. I won't get in my car if I had a drink. I used to do that all the time, but I don't do it anymore. So I won't drive to a bar and have a drink. I just don't do it. I won't. There's no bar close enough to me to walk to have a drink. Because I've done that before when I was not driving. If there was a bar I liked that was close enough to walk to and walk home, I would do that, because I usually do some people in there. I go in, have a couple drinks, talk with some people, maybe shoot some pool, then go home. But like I said, if I got to take a car, and I haven't had a drink got in a car since '99. I just haven't done it. I'm not going to. I quit doing it back, like I said, before I went to China in '99. I quit doing it, and I've not done it since.
Right, that's good.
So it's been quite a few years, and I plan on keeping it that way. Like I said, if somebody else is driving, I'll have a drink or two. If I'm staying at a friend's house, I'll have a couple of drinks with them. If they're here at my place and they want to crack that bottle of wine open, we'll crack it open and have a drink. I'm not against doing it. I'm against doing it for no good reason. And I'm not going to get drunk. I don't like getting drunk anymore. I don't like that hangover the next day anymore. I'm getting too old to recuperate from them. But so no, I rarely ever drink anymore, and so I don't mind. Like I said, I won't mind if I'm dating a girl that drinks once in a while. That's fine. Pamela. Let me pronounce it the way let me pronounce it. Pamela. How you doing,
Hello,
Pamela?
Hello, Pamela. I've got gastritis issues, and I was told that if you're gonna drink, like they said, if you can't have one, then don't do it. If you decide that you want to, and I've had issues, so I just don't do it. One or two, but they literally told me if you can't handle one or two and stop, then you're just gonna destroy. And I've had this happen several times. My gallbladders has got real bad, and so I just don't drink. I'm not gonna kill myself over a drink. I just don't do it. It's just what it is. I don't like that. I don't like bars. I did when I was 21, when I was old enough to drink. But I wasted a lot of years being in bars and stuff, just working and drinking. And all I did basically was just I would spend so much money and stuff, and then have to pay my house mortgage and stuff. So I mean, it's like literally, Larry, I would be broke because of wanting to go get drunk. The thing when you're younger, you did it. But I'm not going to hurt myself. I was told
to. There was a time I drank on my credit card. I would take the credit card and go drinking. Oh yeah.
Yep, that's what I did.
When I was younger, I spent so much money drinking, I could have bought a house. Okay, we're talking because when I went in the Navy, I was allowed to drink at 18. So from the time I started drinking at 18 in the bars and stuff to the time I actually quit, I spent more money than it would have cost me to buy a home. And I'm talking about, at the time I started, $100,000 home would have been paid off long, because it would have cost $100,000 back then. I'm saying because we're talking the 70s. I could have had a home that I could sold today for a couple $100,000 and had it paid off if I'd spent all the money that I was drinking on the home. If I'd have done it back in the 70s, now not today.
Yeah, you could have got a nice place. Geez, man, you could have got a nice place, Oh
yeah, especially if I bought it in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the 70s, you could buy a nice home. And a friend of mine's, she was like a second mother to me when I was out in the Navy. Her house, she had a house on a cul-de-sac, gorgeous home, sunken living room. All it cost, maybe, this is, like I said, they probably bought it in the 60s. This was mid 70s. Probably about $100,000 home.
My house was 1968. And since I left, my parents, my dad, they were looking for a place to get something. And I just told my dad, I said, this was originally the one that you gave me that I bought from you. You bought it. It was literally your place before. I said, I'm leaving. And so when I come back, I could always have my room. But I said, why don't you and my stepmom have this? I said, I don't, you took care of me in my life. So here, it's paid for literally. The only thing that's left that's done that I still get taken out of my check is, I'm $4,000 away from the bank. I'm done. Then I'm done. And it's like literally, when I left $2,000 for my dad to go to the bank and pay. So there's $2,000 left. So when my next check that I get paid here in a couple weeks, I'm going to give my dad the rest of it. And I'm going to say, it's yours. There you go. You don't have to look for anything. I don't want my parents getting stuck out in this winter. It's fall right now. Yeah. And we know how it is in the U.S. Fall can be nice in the daytime and nasty cold at night. I don't want my family outside on the street. So I gave it to him, literally gave it to him. because that's the right thing to do. What am I going to do? I'm not going to sell it. People are like, you should sell it, get the money. No, I can work 5 more years online. I can do stuff to help my new family now, and still be able to help my family there.
Yeah, and that makes sense. You're talking about how the weather can be. Now, like I said, it's been in the 60s and 50s all week here.
That's nice. That's good weather. That's good.
Well, I'm originally from Indiana, the Midwest, and I'm a Colts fan. And I was watching the Colts podcast, and they were talking about, and this was on, I want to say it was a Thursday, it might have been Friday, when they were talking, and it was in the mid 80s there, but it was getting down cool at night, and so I mean, but that's, like I said, where I'm from, my hometown, I can remember winters no snow whatsoever. I can also remember winters with 3 foot of snow on the ground, you know. And
that's the thing is, Larry. It's like I told the wife, it's literally different where you're at. Does New York get a lot more snow? Does Philadelphia? Does Boston and these places get a lot more snow than where I am from, Oregon? Yes. Now, do our mountains get about the same amount of snow? Yeah, I think my mountains get a lot more snow because we've had a couple 100 inches in the last couple of years. But that is not where I live. I'm in the city part in Portland. So, like, I'm 9 miles outside. We don't get it. We get the rain, but we get the cold ice. Now, where you live, yeah. Does it snow more than where I live at in Oregon? Obviously, it does. Is it colder where you're at than my place? Yeah, it is because of the wind chill differences.
Also, now, you say you live in Portland. I lived in.
Yeah.
I served when I was in the Navy. I lived in a place called Pacific Beach, Washington. I can't remember. You needed to move it about 5 miles one way or the other. It would have been dead center between Portland and Seattle.
Yep.
Right on the 101 highway. And,
yep. Yes, sir.
And it was one of the best beaches in the United States for clam digging, if you like clams. And during clam season, see, now, Pacific Beach, Washington, you want to talk about small. The town itself only has about 500 residents. That's it.
Yeah.
500 year-round residents. The base only had 110 people. All right.
Yeah.
We were a very small base.
Yeah.
But during clam season, there was over 5,000 people there every day during clam season.
Every day because clam digging is from that part and then Oregon part going all the way down the coastline. Clam digging is one of the most biggest things that we have on the West Coast. Larry could tell you that because it's literally, that's the truth.
Yeah, and it's free. It don't cost you. You just go out and they had they had 4 hotels or more in this area where I was at, and they survived off clam season because they'd be during the clam season. They would be jam packed with people. People would come in with their campers. Now, are you a John Wayne fan?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen John Wayne's
I like
movie? I think it was called The Q. He was a Seattle cop, and they had this big beach scene chase. When they had that big chase on the beach, Pacific Beach, Washington is where that's at. That was Pacific.
Yeah.
My base overlooked that, where he went underneath those railroad trestles to get on the beach. That was at the very end of my base.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And now I got there about 2 years after they filmed that movie, and they were still talking about it. And there was this one Native American.
That's John Wayne.
There's one Native American there said he was John Wayne's bodyguard. And I could have known he was lying. I'd have never called him a liar. I'm not lying. His shoulders were about yay wide. He was only so high. He was shorter than me. I'm only 5'8". He was shorter than me, but his shoulders were almost twice as wide as mine. And he was all muscle. He could have been lying. I wouldn't have called him a liar. Looked like he could rip my head off, you know. But they were talking. Oh man, they loved it. And to get on that beach where with those cars, They had to go in there and clear the sand out because that usually got filled with sand. And unless you had a 4-wheeler, you weren't going in that way.
Right.
And the beach also started at the beach was below us. We had a cliff that overlooked the beach, and on both ends is where the entrances were to the beach from our base. You couldn't enter through our base because, like I said, we were overlooking the cliff. And Tim, I haven't even done my laundry yet. I'll do that tomorrow.
It's always it's beautiful area from all the way up there, all the way down to Oregon. It's like literally, it's beautiful because the beaches and stuff up there are literally are just, you know, they're beautiful. They're nice, ice cold, but with all the rain and you know, snow didn't get up there. Like it literally, they say that's why they say Oregon's green for a reason, because it literally 4 months out of the year it's raining. If it's not raining, we'll get ice or every day, and that's the life. And people like, well, I'm used to the rain. I am. The rain does not bother me here in the Philippines, because I'm used to it coming down.
It rained so much that we had a running joke whenever the sun was out during rainy season. It's got to be a holiday. The sun's out.
If the sun's out, it's a holiday. Probably is. You're probably right.
Sunshine Liberty. Come on. That's what we told them. Sunshine Liberty. Come on, man. It's a holiday. Got to be. There's no rain today. But Tim,
up there where Larry's talking about, that beach up there is beautiful. I've never gone. I've only drove through and stuff, but literally that beach is where everybody comes to clam, man. And people go, oh, there's only this amount of people here. But when clam season rolls in, it's the same thing in the Oregon coast. You've only got a certain amount. You only got a certain amount of people that are in the coast area lines all year long. And it's not a lot of people. Now, where he's talking about, there's 500 people that are around, you know, yearly. But when it's clam season,
the yearly people were mostly loggers. They were loggers.
Yeah, loggers. Yeah, a lot of loggers. Yep.
And then you had the Indian reservation right up the base, right up the road from the base. And
you had
the Native reservation, and then you also had a little farther up was the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard only had about 10 or 12 people stationed at their base. They used to come to our base and party with us, and I used to give them a hard time. I called them shallow water sailors, and if the guy wasn't 6 foot, I'd ask him, "How did you get in the Coast Guard? I always heard you guys had to be 6 foot tall." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I heard you had to be able to wade to get in if your boat sunk." We give them a hard time. We partied with them all the time. We got along well with them, but you know, you always bust on each other in the military. Tim can tell you that. You always bust on the other branch. And Navy always busted on the Marines. The Marines always busted on the Navy. The Army always busted on the Air Force. Air Force always busted on the Army, because you were sister branches. The Army and Air Force was a sister branch or brother branch, however you want to look at it. Navy and Air Force. Well, Coast Guard as well. You know, they fall under, during wartime, they fall under the Navy. Otherwise, they're on their own. But, it was something else. And the winter temperatures weren't bad. The average lows were in the 30s, and the average highs during the winter was in the 50s. So in the morning, you had to worry about black ice. You know?
Well, that's a big problem. Again, you know, that goes on is we've had, you know, I don't know when you were in the Navy, but being up there, but there were times in Oregon that we actually went through December where we literally, you know, because when I was growing up, we cooked. My dad always cooked everything, like ham or whatever it was. We'd barbecue everything, Thanksgiving barbecue. And I remember December and Christmas, and my dad was cooking some turkey, and we had some ham. And this was literally like when my grandma was still alive and grandfather were still around. And I'm telling you, like, it was literally 68 degrees in December. You would never get that in Oregon. And changes here and there. It's just what it was. Because it's been rainy, dry, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen this year. They say there could be like a lot more rain and a lot more ice. I don't know. But again, like I said, I don't want my family out. My dad. I love my dad to death and my stepmom, but my dad, even with glass and everything, my dad does not drive that good at nighttime. And I look, he come and picked me up when I went from Seattle last time because they had some issues going back to Portland with the planes. So my dad drove up and we drove. It was through the nighttime. But I'll tell you something. It's not that I don't trust, but my dad is a little bit nervous, and he's literally the same age as Larry. My dad's 70 now, so yeah, literally the same age as Larry.
You're younger than my dad.
He doesn't like driving at nighttime, and it's nervous to him. And I don't want to ever have my parents be out stuck in something like that because my dad literally is getting nervous these days.
I got a guy I work with. He's the same way. He's about my age. I think he might be a month or so younger than me, but we're right about the same age. And he's the same way. Driving at night, he no longer works where I'm at because it just made him too nervous to drive that far at night. And because we have to go in, you have to be there by 6. So that means you have to leave. He lives over in the same area I do, which means you have to leave around 5 in the morning. During the summer months, that's not bad. But once it starts turning fall and winter, it gets dark real quick. And it's still dark at 5 o'clock in the morning. So he found something that's a lot closer, and it's he goes in later, so it's lighter, so he feels much better. But yeah, I have no problem driving at night or during the day. I got a friend, she has a hard time driving at night, and she's 10 years younger than I am. And but she's had trouble driving at night for a while. So some people it bothers her sooner than others,
I mean, it's like it's not. You got to also think it's like, just like probably you did. When you and my father's when you guys were in your 20s, it wasn't a big deal to drive. My dad was from Omaha, Nebraska, so they would take them Friday. They would go up Friday night and go up into Minnesota because they had some great fishing areas up there. And literally that my dad would drive, but it's not that my dad's not a good driver at night. It's just that I see something that I've seen in other older people, that could literally get you where it's like, boom, it's something you may not see. And then you get nervous. Next thing you know, you're in a damn crash with somebody. And literally, no, my dad's great. He was great when we went, but he literally told me, he says, next time, man, he's like, I'll pick you up in the morning. He's like, I don't feel comfortable driving. We're good. We got.
You're driving through an area where there's deer, there's all kinds of animals on that. You took the 101 coastal highway.
Yeah, right? I took the 101. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of woods in there, and in the woods you got bears, deers, anything can run out. So I understand that. But for some reason, it doesn't bother me to drive at night. It just
right. Doesn't. Yeah, well, that's good. That's a good thing for you.
Yeah, like I said, I can't tell you why. It just doesn't. I used to drive.
Some people are just
I can't do this anymore. It's not because it's nighttime. It's just I don't have the energy anymore. But I used to work up till 10, 11, or 12 o'clock at night, get off work, and I'd drive back to Indiana at night. And I'd get back in Indiana in the morning around 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'd crash out for a few hours and get up and run around all day. I used to get 4-day weekends all the time. And about every 3 weeks, I'd have a 4-day weekend. And during the summer months, like I said, I did work 4 to midnight. I'd run back to Indiana after I got off work and spend there, and then come back on the 4th day and drive all evening, get home. Because what I was doing when I was getting the 4-day weekends, I worked all 3 shifts. All right, I'd work 7 or 8 to 4, Monday through what was it, Tuesday or the following? No, yeah, the following Monday. Then I'd work 4 to midnight or 3 to 11. I can't remember which it was. Because we're talking 20, almost 28 years ago. Then I think it was 7 to 3, then 3 to 11. And I'd work that for like 9 days. And then I get 48 off. Then I go in and work, you just rotate it, and then your days off from one shift to the next shift would abut each other. So in other words, the last 2 days of the pay week was Thursday, Friday. The first 2 weeks of the next pay week was Saturday, Sunday. So you'd work your 5 days that week. Well, you'd get there, it'd be you have Thursday, Friday off. Well, the next week you were going to have Saturday, Sunday off, so you had 4 days in a row. Then you go back in and work 7 days in a row again, or 9 days. I think it was 9 days in a row. But you work 9, 7, then off 4, 9, 7, and off 4. And you just kept rotating like that. And I enjoyed it. I did this in 2 different places. I did the 3 to 11 in Indiana and the 4 to midnight plus the other shifts on the others. And when I moved out here, I was doing, and we were switching every 2 weeks. And just, I happened to enjoy it. Some of the others didn't. They wanted the same days off every week.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, "Oh, you can't figure out what you're going to do." And I said, "Yeah, you can. You just said here, I'm off." Because their schedule, they printed the schedule up. All you had to do was look at it, and you knew which days you had off every week. You know it months in advance. But they didn't like it. Hey, Danny, welcome.
What's up, Danny? Hello.
But so
yeah, it's a little bit darker here in the Philippines driving at nighttime. Unless you're out in the city part, with a whole bunch of cars. Literally, it's dark and a lot when you come, especially where we're at right now. But
Tim says it's getting dark at 6.
Yeah. It's literally dark.
At 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m. it gets dark now. Yeah, because of the time.
Tim said.
Yeah, it gets dark. It was getting dark a couple months ago at 7. It would get dark at 7, and then by like 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning, it would be light.
Yeah, but Danny says he's good at driving at night until you had to do it in the Philippines.
Yeah, try to drive at nighttime in the Philippines. It's literally dangerous.
Oh yeah, because a lot of people don't use their headlights, from what I understand.
Well, there's at least here in Angela City, there's a lot of people, but there's a lot of motorcycles that don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of them don't. Because I think it was the Filipina P I was listening to. She said that for some reason they seem to think if you run your headlights, you're hurting your gas mileage. It doesn't affect your gas mileage, but they're under that misconception. Yeah, I would have trouble driving outside the cities in the Philippines. I would. If there's a lot of vehicles driving without lights on, province. I'd have trouble with that.
In the province where it's dark.
Yeah. Danny lives in the province area pretty much. He says he drove by Baja at night one time, and he goes, "Oh my God." No, I'm going to live in.
No, I don't blame Danny. I don't blame Danny for not wanting to drive it in the Philippines at nighttime. Literally, it's. I seen probably over 100 different bikes didn't have their lights on. I see some cars that didn't have their lights on. I was just like, wow, whoever's telling them that the gas rolls with the lights, that's literally wrong.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
The lights have nothing to do with your gas.
Yeah,
that's an electric.
Yeah, but Tim, I don't plan on driving in the Philippines. Now, I may change my mind depending on where I live, but if I stay in Cebu or one of the bigger cities, I don't plan on driving. I plan on being close enough to walk to some things or take public transportation.
You got the
bigger cities. You got plenty of public transportation, and so when you look at what it would cost you to buy the vehicle, buy the gas, you can use the public transportation for quite a while before you come up with the same amount of money. Because I would not buy a used vehicle. I would buy a brand new bike because it's easier to get because I've seen a video where a guy was talking about how he bought a used one, and it was a nightmare getting these plates because whoever he bought it from didn't get the proper paperwork for the person he bought it from. And it was a nightmare getting all the paperwork taken care of. Where if you buy a new one, the dealership takes care of all that. And let's be honest about it, the smaller bikes don't cost that much in the Philippines. You're out a couple thousand, maybe $3,000. That's it.
I say that we leave. I say that we leave Tuesday. I want to get.
Tuesday.
I'm gonna get some more stuff, and I want to go get checked up because I've had 10 days, man, of cold, man. I can't, literally. I'm coughing in the morning, like I feel like I'm almost ready to die or something. Just, I need to get checked up before I just get throwing myself, 7 hours away.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. If you're not feeling well, get checked out first. That's what I said. I want to live close to a decent, decent hospital because at my age, that's something you got to worry about. And that's another reason why I'll probably be close to a big city because they'll have the better hospitals. I'm not going to say depends on where you're at, whether they're world class. I'm not going to say that they're going to have everything you need, but you're better off being close to them. Because if they can't,
you got a hospital close. They got a hospital. It's not, it's within you. You have to. The thing is, you have to take a boat into town, but like literally, like. There's a hospital right there in town, so it's like it's not far, so which is good, Otherwise, we already planned this. And this is something that she wants to do, and I'm not gonna stop it just because I've got my medicine that I take, and if I need to go see a doctor, I'll go see a doctor, and that's just the way it goes. I mean. I don't have, I'm not gonna, I'm young still. I'm only 45, but yeah, like it's just what it is. But I just myself, I got, we got like, I think it's a 6 or 7 hour thing on a bus, man. Like, so yeah, I gotta get seen by a doctor before I even jump on that bus.
Yeah. But Tim just says he can drive round trip to the VA clinic in Manila on his motorcycle with 1 tank of gas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, Clark's got a decent hospital, from my understanding, as well. And like I said, that's the areas like I said, I'm not talking about you got to be a world-class hospital because probably all of those are probably in Manila, the world-class ones. But they have good hospitals, And it's the same thing here in the United States. There's a lot of hospitals that are not world-class here in the U.S. You damn well bet your bottom dollar on that.
They got small town ones. I've been to small town ones before that the Philippines are 100 times better.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they got some that are not real good here. Let me tell you. Now they do have some good ones here, but you gotta be. They're not always close to where you're living.
No.
You take the Mayo Clinic is a world class, but it's nowhere near me. Cleveland Clinic.
No.
That's about 6 hours away from me by vehicle. Cleveland Clinic's a very good hospital.
Yeah, I'd have to drive either a couple hours away from where I live. Either go into Portland if they had it. If Portland doesn't have it, then I'd have to drive like all the way out, a couple hours away just to go see, get a decent clinic. Because even special stuff like when I had to go see gastritis, they wanted me to go all the way. I mean, way outside, almost close to the end of Oregon. I said, I'm not going that far. You joke? I'm not. That's literally 300 miles or plus, of driving. Like I'm not going all the way, I'm not going 300 plus miles to get seen. So I ended up just going into Portland and getting seen by a place. What can I do? I'm not going that way out.
In my hometown, if back in Indiana, if they couldn't do it, I'd have to go to Indianapolis. But Indianapolis is only like 70 miles away, So I wasn't but they would have enough to. If something happened, if they couldn't treat it, they could stabilize me in my hometown. They had all the doctors you needed, but that doesn't mean they were the best and they were good. But if they really needed a specialist, you might have to go to Indianapolis or Chicago. Chicago is a little farther.
I'm going to get ready. I got to wash up and get ready. I got to go up and go buy some medication. So.
All right. Well, then I probably won't last much longer. I've been going an hour and a half, a little over. If I don't know, it doesn't seem like anybody else wants to come up. If they do, I'll talk longer. Otherwise, I won't. Now, Bruce, you have a safe trip home.
And everybody in the chat.
And,
thank you.
Hopefully, we'll see you next weekend.
Yep.
And so take care, man. All right, everybody. Like I said, I know it's Sunday morning over there. I want to thank everybody for coming. If somebody else wants to come up, come on up. Otherwise, I'll be shutting this down here in just a few minutes. And let me take that out of my ear because I don't need it anymore. So we're just waiting for a couple minutes to see if anybody wants to come up. But I want to thank everybody for coming. Yeah, 70 miles only takes about an hour in the States, Tim, as you know. I jump on Thruway 70 and I can do 75 miles an hour all the way, as long as there's no road construction. And also in the States, if it's real emergency, as you know, they have the medical helicopters. They'll put you in a medical helicopter and just fly you there even quicker, because you don't have to worry about traffic at all. So, but yeah, like I said, I want to live close to a decent hospital. That's one of the few requirements that an area has to have before I consider it. Like I said, I'm not saying it has to be world class, but it has to be good. I want one that that can at least stabilize me and transfer me if they need to. So I forget what I think the highest tier is like 3 or 4. So I want at least a tier 2 near me. Or tier 3, whichever is the second highest. I'd like to be near one of those. Some of them have everything you need from what I've been hearing, but they may not have a doctor on duty the day you need it. So that's something else you got to look at. Like I said, Deval, I like the ideal of Deval because of the 911 system. I like Elo because of the walkability. They both have good hospitals. So does Clark. That's another area I would consider. Now, like I said, I would stay out of downtown. I'd live on the outskirts like Tim and use the malls and stuff and the theaters and all that kind of stuff for entertainment. Yeah, like the ACE hospitals. Is that what you're talking about there, Tim? I know there's some ACE hospitals. I know Dumagetti has one because one of the vloggers there, he talked about how he joined that hospital. You can use it without being a member, but if you're a member, you pay so much money down and you and your family gets nice discounts. I wouldn't join unless I had a family, and then I would want to do it for the family, not for me, because it's a few $1,000s down. I don't know if I'd have that kind of cash. But the guy I'm talking about, he's married and has 2 kids now, so it makes perfect sense for him to do it. I think both of his kids are girls, if I remember right. I haven't seen any of his videos for a while. And there's people that don't worry about how close the hospital is. They're just, we're going to live here. That's where I'm going to live, and that's fine. That's their choice. I'm just a little older than they are, and so I'm a little more. And plus, I have a little more like I'm diabetic, uh, not hardcore. I don't take insulin, but I have to watch what I eat. So I wish I didn't because there's a lot of food that I would eat a lot more of it if it wasn't for my diabetes. Also, my weight. Let's be honest about it. The weight hurts me as well. But yeah, Maris, thank you for coming again. And so that's something I really do want to consider is the healthcare part of it. Anime, how you doing, Anime? Dan was here earlier, but they had to go. He had to go take care of something. So thank you for coming, Anime. And so, like I said, we're just gonna keep trucking, keep trying to put money back once I get this bill paid off, and save up money so I can move to the Philippines when the time comes. And like I've told you all, I mean, I won't go until after my mother passes away. And she is 98. She'll be 99 in January. So, and even after if she would pass away right now, I still wouldn't go because I got to, like I said, I got to save some money. And I'm glad to hear you're doing well, Anime. Thank you for coming. Like I said, you missed Dan, and he was here for just a little bit. He came up, was talking, but him and his brother-in-law had to go take care of something. He's getting ready to go to, as you know, he's getting ready to go to LA. So they had to get some things taken care of before he goes. He was talking about getting a repeater for his house, a Wi-Fi repeater, to increase the range of his Wi-Fi, which I don't blame him. We all like to have good, strong Wi-Fi. But like I said, right now I plan on being an apartment dweller. But then again, like I said, I'm single. So I'll be looking for an apartment. If I decide to rent a house instead, I definitely will have to find a maid to come in and clean the place once or twice a week. I won't want one that lives in. Just don't want that. But I'll be willing to pay somebody to come in and clean up once or twice a week. And I don't mind doing my own cooking. I do that here at home. Some of you have seen my cooking videos. I do know how to cook. When I was very young, my dad went on total disability, and my mom had to go to work. All right, Tim, take care. My mom had to go to work, so his kids had to start doing more chores around the house. And one of the things I had to do was every so often take my turn at cooking. And we're talking when I was about 12 years old. So I started learning to cook. Now, back then, I just cooked sandwiches and green beans. Then later on, I started cooking pork chops and chicken. And later on, I could even cook lasagnas and make chili. And I learned how to bake later on. So, I learned to cook because it was necessary to help the family out. And now I don't mind cooking. I'd rather cook than do dishes. I'll be honest with you. I don't like doing dishes, but I do dishes as well. We had to take turns doing dishes too. Whoever cooked didn't have to do dishes, but we took turns doing all that. So yeah, it's like I said, I do look forward to moving to the Philippines, but I can't say when. There's too many things outside of my control that I can't control when my mother passes away, and I wouldn't want to. I'll leave that up to the good Lord. If she wants her to be around a while, she'll be around a while. Now, my mom will tell you she don't want to live to be 100. But I told my mom, it's not up to you. The good Lord will call you when he's ready. She goes, I know, but I don't want to be 100. Like I said, she's going to be 99 in January. So she may make 100. And it's going to be at least a year about a year and a half before I'd be ready to go anyway. Matter of fact, if she lived to be 100, I still would be saving money. If she doesn't make it to 100, by her 100th birthday, I'd still be working to save money. It wouldn't be much after that I could afford to go. But if she's here, I'll keep working and keep putting money back. Because the more money I have back, the better off I'll be. But once I have that, a year and a half from now, actually not even a year and a half, year and about 5 months, I'll be ready to go as far as money goes, if everything goes right. But I got to watch what I'm doing. I got to watch what I spend. So I got to be a little more judicious on how I spend my money. I still will help out occasionally with sponsorships. That's something I enjoy doing. But I can't get crazy on it. I'll still have a giveaway sometime where I'm giving away some money. I haven't decided when. It may not be till maybe before I leave. But I probably will do it before that even. Who knows? I can't tell you. I haven't decided. CBGB, I'm glad to hear you voted. I haven't voted yet, but I'll be voting soon. I'll probably vote next weekend if the polls are open here. Because on the election day itself, I'll be going into work. I got to be at work at 6 in the morning, which is about the time the polls are open. I won't get off till 4, and I won't get back home till after 5. And the polls won't be open much longer than that. And I just assume not have to deal with it that day because of that. I used to, when I worked 8 to 4, I would go in and vote before I go to work. I'd get up early and be at the polls and be one of the first people to vote. I'd be in line. My carrier pigeon, if I had one, I'd vote that way. CBGB. And thank you, Maris. But like I said, it's just something that I believe in doing. My dad always told me that if you don't vote, you can't complain. And I like complaining. I don't care who wins. I'm going to complain. I mean, I have a person I'm voting for, and I hope they win. Don't get me wrong. I'd be a lot happier if they win. But I'm going to complain no matter who wins. Because no matter who wins, they're going to do something I'm not going to be happy with. Either the way they talk to people or the way some policies they implement, doesn't matter. There's going to be something. And I just like to complain. Now, I won't do it on here. This is not a political channel. We're not going to talk politics. I voted for Taft, man. How could you vote for Harding? Oh, by the way, people, Harding and Taft are both dead and have been for many years. That's for you that are not in the States. Those both are past presidents. I think Harding was a president. I know he ran for it. And but Taft was. Taft was a very big. He's, matter of fact, as far as presidents go, he was the fattest president we ever had. He got stuck in the bathtub. He was so fat. So, in other words, he made me look thin. That's why I voted for him. He made me look good. I think he was dead probably about the time I was born, if not before. He was a long time ago. And so, no, but yeah, that's one of the stories. He was so fat he got stuck in the bathtub in the White House. So I think he also was the only president that was single. I think it was Taft. But yeah, like I said, no, I'll keep you all informed. We'll do another live stream next week, per usual. But like I said, what I'm going to do another giveaway. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably want to do it for a special occasion. So I got to wait to find a special occasion that I think warrants me giving away my money. I'll probably be similar to the last one. Like I said, I'll have LV help me again, and we'll do something similar again. And so, and I'll probably take a couple months to get the money to her before we do it, where I can take it out of, instead of just one check, I can take it out of. I get one big check. My Social Security check is one big check once a month. And that's what I've been using to do this with. So instead of taking it all out of one check, I'll take a little out of this check and the rest out of the next check. So we'll do it that way when I decide to do it. But like I said, this check here is paying off my bill, and then I'm debt free outside of my car and my living expenses, and that's it. And then I got to start saving up money for my retirement. Nothing wrong with that, Danny. I wish I could multitask like that. I can't. I don't even, Danny. I don't even edit my videos. I'm so poor on that. I wish I was better with that kind of stuff, but I'm just not very good. And one of these days, I really need to try to figure that out. I can take a video and cut it down to a short. I have that ability. But to take and edit the way I would like to edit some of them, I can't do it. I would like to take some and, like, I had a couple of videos I did and it died on me and I had to restart it. I would like to take those and be able to jam them together and make it into a video. But I don't know how to do that. I need to figure that out. Now, Danny, do you know when you're going back to the Philippines? Have you made that decision yet? Because I know this, when you go back this time, you want to not come back. So have you made a decision when you're done here in the States? I know Jamie's over there. He's been watching some of his videos. But like I said, I do want to check Davao out. I want to check Iloilo out. I want to check out Ormoc and that other city on the other side of the island of Leyte. I can't think of the name of it. Starts with a T. I'd like to check out, is it Bacol? Bacula? It's not far from Iloilo. It's on another island. It's just a short distance between them, though. And then there's Cavite area, and then right outside of Manila, a couple areas up there. But like I said, I may not get all of them checked out. I may find a place that I really love, and that'll be it. But I like to check these places out and determine, well, I'm interested in that, might be all right. No, that one I just don't care for it for whatever reason. But I may decide I love Cebu so much that I'll just stay in Cebu. We'll get that figured out. People are saying, well, you got to get a girlfriend. I don't plan on getting a girlfriend until I know where I want to live. That may change. I may meet someone that says, where's McDurrell Station at, CBGB? What island is that on? But so yeah, there's certain things I want to do, and like I said, that's somebody once. I can't remember who said this, but it's an old saying. It might have been a preacher that said it. It says, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. That's how you can make God laugh. And Antarctica, have fun being there by yourself, bro. Ain't no way I'm going to Antarctica. Not going to the North Pole, not going to Antarctica, either one. No. I don't think the polar bears and I would like snuggling up to each other. Now, they might like me snuggling up to them. That'd be a snack when they wake up. But no, thank you. I don't like cold. You married a penguin, huh? You can have the cold, buddy. That's one of the reasons why I want to go to the Philippines. Once I retire and move, I don't want to see snow again. I don't want to be cold again. I can take it. I've been living this all my life, so I can take it. I just don't like it. And so once I retire, I want to go somewhere warm. Now somebody said, "Oh, well, what about Florida?" Well, look what happened to Florida this past month. Got nailed bad by 2 hurricanes. Florida gets hit with hurricanes almost every year. I know the Philippines can too, but they're not the same area as much. You take Cebu, Dumaguete, some of those areas are a little more protected, so they get hit, but not hard. And like I said, all that stuff is going to be taken into consideration. If I was totally worried about typhoons or hurricanes, whatever you want to call them, I think they call them typhoons over in the. I'm not sure if that's in the Pacific. They call them typhoons, I believe. And yeah, Hurricane Milton was the last one to hit, and it wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be, and it still did a lot of damage. But so, like I said, you got earthquakes, no matter hurricanes and tornadoes, and because of Milton, Florida got hit with something like 27 tornadoes too. That did a lot of damage. Now I'm from the tail end of Hurricane Valley, or Alley is what they call it. Indiana's part of that. It's at the very end of it. But yeah, I grew up with tornadoes all the time. But I mean, they don't hit where you're at all the time. But they're hit somewhere within a few. I can remember tornadoes hit within a couple blocks of where I live. I can remember living in one subdivision. On both sides of our subdivision, tornadoes tore everything up, but it just jumped over our subdivision and missed us. So like I said, I grew up with that stuff. It doesn't mean you like it. It doesn't mean it's not deadly, because it is. But we got Danny coming up. All right, Danny, give me a minute. I got to plug my earphones back in.
All right, got you.
And with nobody up here, I didn't need them in. Come on. All right, sir. How you doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Trying to stay out of trouble. Like I said, I had training today. I had to go into the main office. New York requires annual training, and so they don't have to pay for it. They don't have to pay for it because it's a requirement to keep your job. The state requires it. And but usually it's 8 hours, but we only had, it's supposed to be 10 students. Only 3 of us showed up. So we got through in 6 hours. We didn't take a lunch break either. So we just went straight through. And a head break, that's all we had. And so got that done. I don't have to do another until next year now. I'm going to, like I said, it all depends on whether my mom, when she passes away, if she passes away before this next contract, next license, because they're good for 2 years, right, before it expires, I won't need another license. I'll have everything I need to move. But I'm gonna, I gotta take the class again, because she might live beyond 100. And if she does, then I gotta renew my license to keep working, because if I quit working before, once I get to the end of this license, if I quit working, then I start having to use my savings to live here. And I don't want to do that. I want to keep that for going over there.
Right.
And the license cost me like $25 for 2 years, plus the going in for 8 hours. That's it. And I make good money, not great money, but I make good money as a guard. I'm a lot better than minimum wage.
So have you got a timeline for getting over to the Philippines, or is that?
I can't go till my mom passes away, and it'll be at least a year and 5 months before I'm ready to go.
Right.
So she can hit 100 and die right after 100. I'll be ready to go. Because, like I said, she'll be 99 in January.
Right.
So a year from this March, I can go. So
Oh, wow.
about a year and 5 months, I could probably do it before that, but my license is going to be good. So, and my lease ends in March, so I have to renew the lease. So I would just go ahead and stay here and work to the end of the lease and then go.
Right.
You know, because otherwise you're paying for an apartment you're not living in.
Right.
Well, why do that? You know, work a little more, save a little more money, and then go.
Yeah.
And I might leave. I might leave in February and give them an extra month and not be here. But I'm not going to leave much more than that.
Yeah, I'm in the same kind of boat. Yeah, my lease is up in March, and it just seems like if that time comes around next year, I feel like it's going to be like a time crunch, trying to get everything done before I got to sign another lease.
Yeah. But if you
it's
sign
not
another
much.
lease, if you got to sign
Yeah.
another lease for a year, you might as well work 11 months of it. And that lets you
Yeah.
put more money back.
Right. Yeah. If that
That's
happens,
the way I look at it. I can put more money back.
true. Yeah, I just put more money in my 401k.
Yeah. Well, mine's just going to be a savings account.
Oh, okay.
I was not smart enough to start a 401. When they first offered me a 401k when I was working with this company, I thought, I'm not going to be here that long. I wasn't planning on staying in security guard as long as I've been one.
Right.
And I didn't ask the question, so that's my stupidity. I didn't ask if I could take it with me if I left.
Right.
Because if I had, I probably would have started. I wouldn't have put a lot away, but I would have probably started one. You know,
Does your
maybe 10%
employer offer,
or
like,
whatever.
do they offer
But
like
that
a pull match?
Yeah. But like I said, I didn't know that you could take it with you to your next job.
Yeah, you can roll it over into an IRA.
Yeah, like I said, I see when they first came. I was around when they first offered that, so I wasn't real clear because before that they didn't offer it.
Right.
You know, that was something did back in the 80s. They came up with that in the 80s.
Well, a lot of companies,
And,
they offer
I
a
don't
match.
remember no, they didn't offer to match anything where I worked.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
they didn't offer to match.
Huh.
So it would have been just me putting money back, which I
Right.
would have done if I know not going to take the money with me.
Right.
I thought I'd have to leave it there until I was ready to retire and then get it,
Mm.
you know, or take it out and lose money because you're penalized if you take it out before a certain age.
Yeah, the company I work for, they match.
Well,
Depending on how many years, they'll match from anywhere from like 3% up to 9%.
Yeah. Well,
dollar.
yeah. Now, later on, in a different, it was a contract that because of the contract, they offered to match up to so much.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, I was counting on my income to pay my bills. I got myself in bad enough shape that I really didn't have the extra to put back. But when they first offered it, I had the money. I would have never had it, so it would have been going out the entire time. And I never would have been counting on it because I would have started it before I got to that point. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I wish I would have. I wish I would have, invested more money into it, initially.
Well, I wish I'd have listened to my younger sister. My younger sister worked for a welfare department back home, and she tried to get me to apply for it, which I was qualified, and I probably would have got hired because they needed people.
Right.
So I could have worked for the welfare department. Now I wouldn't have made much more money than what I was making at that time. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't do it, because it's like, nah, I want to deal with these people for that little bit of money.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about retiring from there with a pension, the medical, because you can retire at 55, which is what she did.
Yeah,
I would have worked. I would have worked till I was 62 or older, because I'm older than her by 8 years. All right, 7.5 years. I'm older than my youngest sister. But anyway, I would have went ahead and worked till I was 62 or so, which would have put me retired about the same time she did. but I would have been able to draw my Social Security. Or I might have said, the heck with it, I'm going to work till I get my full Social Security and just build
Right.
everything up more. But I would be in a lot better shape if I'd have listened to my little sister. Now, how many people can say that? If I listened to my little sister, I'd be better off.
All right.
But I can say that. I can honestly say if I listened to my little sister, I'd have been better off. And I have two sisters that retired at 55.
Nice.
Now, my other sister, she's older than me, but she was a teamster. Now, she didn't drive trucks. She, you remember the Columbia House Record Club?
Huh.
There was the Columbia House Record Clubs. You could buy so many records for pennies, and then you had to buy so many every so often.
Oh,
And-
well, I
And,
remember Columbia House. Remember Columbia
yeah,
House?
Columbia House. They had a record club as well. Well,
Oh,
they
okay.
were all connected. Columbia House and the record club was the same company,
Right.
but only the record club was in the Teamsters. Columbia House, all the other employees were non-union,
Okay.
and they were in Terre Haute, my hometown. My sister started there when she was 19, and she retired at 55. But all the other jobs, they moved down to Georgia. The ones that weren't in the union, they moved years later. I mean, it was years later after she started, many years later.
Right.
They ended up moving them all down to Georgia. But the union people stayed right in Terre Haute. The job stayed right there. And so all those people didn't have to move to another place to keep their job or look for another job. They had theirs.
Right.
And she retired at 55 years old. And she's 74. I think, if I remember right, she's 74. She'll be 75 this year in December. Her birthday's in December, 3 days before Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And she hasn't worked a day since. Now, my little sister, she worked part-time after she retired at 55 until she hit 62, took her Social Security, and hasn't worked since then. She's 63 now, so she hadn't worked at all for a year.
Well, a lot of people at work ask me, if I'm planning on, quote, retiring. I mean, I still plan to work. I just don't plan to do, healthcare. I don't plan on doing what I'm doing right now over there.
Yeah. Because you're married to a Filipina, you can work, right?
Well, we're not married, but
well, you either gotta have a special retirement visa, or you gotta be married. There's only certain ways you can work in the Philippines as a expat.
Right.
Now you can work remotely, like have a job here in the States and go over there and work.
Now I thought about doing that. Yeah.
But I mean, to actually go over and have a job where you're working in the Philippines for a company in the Philippines, you gotta have a special kind of retirement. Or maybe if you're married to a Filipino, you might be able to do it. I'm not sure. I don't plan on working. I'm in my 70s. I don't plan on working.
Right. Yeah.
Once I'm done, I want to be done.
Yeah.
My only work will be YouTube. That's for me is entertainment, not work.
Right. Right. Yeah. Irene, we own pigs over there, and we got a little banana farm.
See, to me that's work, but it's not work. You're not working.
Right.
You're not working for somebody else.
Right. True.
And somebody said, well, you got to do something. I said, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not working for another SOB the rest of my life once I retire.
Oh, hell no. Now, I have thought about, doing like an online nursing kind of deal. But, I would want to get hired with a company here in the U.S. and then work remotely from over there. But, I don't know. I just had to wait and see how things turn out.
No, I understand. Like I said, with me, I'm still waiting because I got plenty of time. Like I said, I can't go for about a year and 5 months at minimum anyway.
All right.
Let's say a year and 4 months. I can't really go till then anyway. So I got plenty of time to figure out. And for me, it's not what am I going to do for a living.
Right.
It's where I'm going to live.
Right.
Right now, how much money am I going to have? And that's why I said at this month, I'll have everything but my car and my living expenses taken care of. pay off my last credit card this month. And towards the end of the month, I'll have it paid off. And then after that, every month, whatever I charge is paid for. There's no rollover debt after this, outside of, like I said, my car and my living expenses.
Right.
And so my Social Security check, most of it, if not all of it, is going to be saving for going over there.
Right.
So, like I said, in a year, I'll have enough money that I could go over there.
Yeah, I'm saving up for a truck right now. I mean, there's two things I'm trying to save up for.
Yeah. See, I don't want a car or a truck. I don't want one. If I buy anything, it's going to be a bike.
No, I want one of those too.
And I don't even want a bike unless I live outside the city. If I live inside the city, I don't want a vehicle, period. I'll either walk or take public transportation.
Yeah, when you're driving around there, man, your head's on a swivel. You're just.
It's not just that though. If there's an accident, even if it's not your fault, people want to blame you because you're so-called the rich one.
Right.
You're the foreigner, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I just, Dang, how you doing, Dang? But like I said, I just don't want to, unless I need a vehicle to get around, why get one? I mean, if I live in Cebu, I don't need a vehicle. I don't need one if I live in Davao.
All right.
It's a very walkable areas and very clean areas that you can walk quite safely. Same thing with Iloilo. They got public transportation if you're going to go farther than what you want to walk.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like I said, if I live in those kind of areas, I'm not getting a vehicle. I mean, if I need to, I can rent one. If I want to go on a trip, I can rent a vehicle. But why buy one?
Right. Yeah, we got a little bought a little one of those little Bajas over there.
You're talking the Bajas, the 3-wheeler.
Yeah,
like motorcycle, 3-wheel motorcycle.
Yeah, we bought. I bought one of those when I was over there last time. And I mainly got it for her so that she didn't have to rely on her sister and brother-in-law or anybody else. If she needed to run to the store and buy some feed for the pigs or whatever, she could just hop on.
But see, you live out a little bit. You need a vehicle because that's a small little area. You got to run a little ways to get into a decent sized town.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If I live in that kind of condition like you are, I'm going to get a vehicle. Whether it's a 3-wheeler or a motorcycle, fine, but it's not going to be a car or a truck. I just don't. It's just me. Why do I want one? Now, like you said, you got it for her. If I got married, maybe I'll buy a different vehicle.
Yeah.
But that's not
like
my
you said, we live pretty far. I mean, not really far, but
yeah, but as far as you don't want to walk it. That's what I'm saying. If you're for ARD, if you're far out enough that you don't want to walk,
right,
and there's not ready public transportation at hand where you can walk a short distance and catch it, then you want a vehicle. You take where Dan and Minnie live. They can walk up a short distance and they're on a main road and can catch a jeepney or a trike going by.
Right.
They got a car, but they don't really have to have one. They could get by without it, but they got a car for other convenience.
Yeah, when I was out there, this last time, we rented a Nissan pickup, and that was I enjoyed that. I mean, that was nice, driving from where we lived to up to.
Don't get me wrong. The car or the truck would be a lot better than that Baja for riding.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
but
especially long distance.
That's what I said. But it costs a lot more. I'm a poor boy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, a nice pickup would cost you, probably around $40,000.
I'm a poor boy, And let me see something there real quick.
Yeah, we took that Nissan. We took that truck and her kids and her niece, we went to Samal Island, which is right
I
across.
hope you notice what I did, Eve. LV, I mean, I removed her as a standard monitor and gave her a little bit higher position because she helps me out so much as a monitor. So we gave her a little something else. It's like a managing monitor or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I don't know what extra powers it gives it. I just know it's a little bit higher than a standard. Like I said, whenever I have my giveaways, she's the one that runs it for me. So
Oh, that's cool.
I've had 2 giveaways. She ran both of them for me. And the next one, she'll do it again for me. So I'm just not sure when I'm going to do it.
Nice.
But
yeah, we rented that truck and we took a ferry across. We took the truck on a ferry across to Samal Island, and we went to a couple of beach resorts over there.
yeah,
That was just so freaking awesome.
like I said, I mean, it would be better in some areas to drive that truck or SUV.
Right.
Because I like SUVs better than trucks. I have a Crosstrek, a Subaru Crosstrek. It's a very small SUV, and before that, I had RAV4s, which are also SUVs. I like SUVs. One of the reasons I like an SUV over a pickup truck, if you have a pickup truck, everybody wants you to help move stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And I moved myself. I did. I moved myself, and I've decided I'm never doing that again. When I moved down here, I loaded up my SUV, brought it down here by myself, unloaded it. Now the couch and the chair I bought down here, so they were delivered by the furniture store. But my bed, my computer, my TV stand, all that stuff, I moved myself.
Right.
And and I had some other things I moved, and my chest of drawers I moved myself, and so I did move a lot of it myself. And I got to the point where I just left some stuff. I said, I don't care. I'm not moving it. I gave it to some of the people in the apartment building I was living in. I had a real nice TV stand, but I wasn't moving that by myself.
Yeah,
that sucker was big and heavy. If I had a pickup truck, I could have done it, but my SUV, I wasn't going to do it. But,
having a truck, just different, having different forms of transportation over there. I mean, they all have their pros and cons because,
oh yeah,
even though it was nice taking that truck to Davao, it was nice because normally we take like a taxi or something, or we get in one of those vans where there's there's like 10 people packed in there like sardines. I mean, it only cost you, but $5, $10 to travel that way. But you're stuck in there with a bunch of strangers, and stuck in there like a sardine. So,
well, like I said, if I lived out like you guys, I'd get a vehicle. I would. But then, if I'm inside the city like Cebu or Davao, nah.
Right. But then when we took the ferry across, man, we waited in that line forever just to get on the ferry.
Yeah.
Whereas if we had taken, like one of the, the vans or something like that, they would have dropped us off right there in front of the wharf. And then we would have just walked in there, and, you get there a lot quicker, doing it that way. But yeah, it just depends on what, on what you want to put up with and what's your tolerance level, I guess,
Yeah. What frustrates you more?
Right.
You go with whatever frustrates you the least.
And then, we got like a little Honda Click 125 motor scooter, that versus, the Bajaj. Well, for one, the scooter's a lot faster, but if you get stuck in the rain, you're stuck out in the elements. Whereas the Bajaj takes a little longer to get where you want to go, but at least you're protected somewhat from the elements.
Oh yeah, they're talking about the vehicles that protect you. Have you seen the Chariots? What they call a Chariot?
The Chariots.
It's like a 175 with like a truck bed behind it.
No, I haven't seen those.
They, I want to say it's Rusi that makes it. They call it a Chariot, and it's like a 175 motorcycle with a almost like a truck bed behind it, where you can use it like a truck bed. I mean, it's not.
Okay.
Wouldn't be like a Nissan truck bed, but it's for hauling cargo and stuff.
Right. Yeah,
and, I thought one of those might be cool to have. But I would probably go with either a regular motorcycle or the 3-wheeler like the Baja or its competitor. I can't remember the name of the competitor. Is it a Tuk or something like that they have? Because one's made by one company, they got another one just about exactly the same thing, but it's made by another company. They've got a different name, but I mean, it's the same basic style. There's some minor differences. You ever watch Bud Brown?
Every once in a while.
I think it was Bud that did a comparison. It was either Bud or Turquoise Sunrise. That's a Phil Lamb couple that live in Valencia.
Mm-hmm.
One of those two did a comparison of the two, because they had one and a friend of theirs had the other style, and they got together and showed both, and they talked about what they liked about theirs and all that. And
yeah, like I said, they all have their pros and cons, and
oh yeah,
like the Baja. If you were, there's several times where we would go to places that were kind of like in the mountain region areas. And if you're on a steep incline, holy moly! If you had like 4 people in that thing, there was one time where a couple of kids had to get out because it was too much weight to go up the hill.
Oh yeah. Well, you're talking about that. Bud Brown at one time had an electric vehicle. And it was called the Molly Mobile. And they took it and had some special work done to it, and it was enclosed, and so Gloria could ride in the back, and because they added more weight to it doing what they did on flat, it was great. But I mean, like you said, going up to Valencia and stuff, it was a little tougher because it took more, being electric, it took more power to go up the hill because the extra weight.
Right.
And but he loved it, but once it was hard to get replacement batteries once the battery went bad. So and Jay Lynn is telling you hi, Danny.
Oh hey, how's it going?
And but yeah, it was like I said, I've been on YouTube now for 8 years or more, 9 years.
Oh wow!
I've had my channel set up for 7, 8 years, and I was on YouTube before that, following people. I only set the channel up because you couldn't comment on live streams unless you had a channel. So when I first started following YouTube, I never made comments on live streams. Didn't need to, I was just watching videos, and I'd make a comment afterward, but I didn't have to have a channel. But if you were following like Christian Sabu, who I followed, I think it was because of him that I actually set up my channel.
All right.
And so I set the channel up, I had no intention of making videos. I just set it up so I could comment in the live streams. And my first video was explaining how come I used the name Lazy Larry. Because at that time I wasn't Lazy Larry Lee, I was just Lazy Larry. Before I set the channel up, I was just Larry Lee.
Right.
And but I changed my name to Lazy Larry because in Chris Sabu's channel there was B, Larry Lee, there was Larry B, Larry G, Larry something else. There's like 4 or 5 Larrys, and 3 of us, our last name they just used their letter, sounded the same.
Right.
So you really had to be paying attention to if he asked you a question. If he was saying Larry G and you didn't hear it, you might think he was talking to you. Because he doesn't type it in, he just says it. He's doing the live stream. So I changed it to Lazy Larry in case he wanted to ask me something. He could just say, "Hey, Lazy," or "Lazy Larry."
Right.
And so a lot
Yeah, I
of people,
started-
because I was at work a lot, I just got home from work when he was doing his live streams. And somebody they kept asking me, "Well, how come Lazy Larry? You know, you're always working."
Right.
And so my very first video was explaining how I got the name Lazy Larry and why
Yeah, I
I
always
used it.
remember that.
Yeah, well, go watch my very first video. It's a long one, but I explain how I got it and then why I use it.
Right.
Well, I'll give you the short version. I got it in high school. I had a shop teacher. I signed up for auto body repair. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And they decided they weren't going to have auto body. They were just going to have automotive. And because I was a senior, they decided, well, if he's interested in auto body, he's got to be interested in automotive. We'll just put him in automotive. Don't contact me. Don't ask me because I'd have told them F no. Because I've never had the desire to work on motors. Never.
Right.
So they put me in auto shop, automotive. And I go and I decide I'm going to drop out of class because I'm going to graduate in January. I was scheduled to go the whole year.
Right.
I could have cut back to half a day, went the whole year, worked 40 hours a week.
Right.
Or I could drop one class, so I could pick up another class. I had to pick up a class I didn't have. I was graduating in January and go in the Navy in March, which is what I decided to do.
Right.
Well, the only class that made sense to drop was my mathematical analysis class. It's a step between geometry and calculus.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Oh, I was a math major. I mean, I found math easy. And my math teacher told me, "Hey, Crystal," my math teacher said, "Larry, the first semester is nothing but repeat of all the stuff you've already studied and known." Because I was telling him, I was going to have to drop a class. He says, "You might as well drop this because you're not going to learn anything new. The first semester is just a review of everything. The second semester is where we get into tying it all together." And I went,
I remember taking college algebra. Man, that was kind of rough.
but I needed an econ class. So I given the econ class, and my auto shop teacher, because I never brought work in, because like I said, I had no desire to work on motors. He would, if somebody needed help, he'd say, "Go get Lazy Larry. He's got nothing to do. He can help you." So that's how I got the name Lazy Larry. I was working about 30 hours a week. I had a part-time job. I worked about 24 to 30 hours every week, plus go to school full time. Yeah, I'm lazy. I just, so that's how I got the nickname Lazy. And then I never used it after high school until
you can start the channel.
Well, actually, it was later when I decided to change the name of my channel from Larry Lee to Lazy Larry because of Chris and Sabu.
Right.
And so, because when I first started following him, I used Larry Lee. And like I said, there's that confusion. If you're not paying close attention, if he asked a question, you weren't sure if he's asking you or one of the other Larrys.
True.
And so I decided to change it to Lazy Larry. And then I changed it to Lazy Larry Lee because some of the guys were saying they were having a hard time finding me. So I typed in Lazy Larry, and there's a cartoon called Lazy Larry, and all these cartoons come up. You have to go through like 3, 4, 5 pages of them before you ever get close to me. So I decided, well, let's change it again. We'll make it Lazy Larry Lee and see what happens on the first day that pops up. So that's how I ended up with being Lazy Larry Lee.
That's what I don't understand about my channel is, when I type in "road to the Philippines" or when somebody asks me like at work, I say, "Hey, check out my channel, Road to the Philippines." It'll show roads that are in the Philippines, videos about roads, actual roads in the Philippines. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, excuse me. I'm like, what the hell? It's like,
what the hell,
I was like, my channel is the only one named Road to the Philippines. You would think that would be the first channel that pops up.
Yeah, because they're not writing roads in the Philippines. Roads in, Road 2,
Yeah.
not roads.
Like it makes no sense. I'm like, why?
Well, like I said, Lazy Larry, there was a cartoon character that had a lot of cartoons, and they were on there before me. So I'm the Johnny Come Lately. So, but like since my end and my last name, I'm the first thing that pops up, and I gotta put my camera on stop. I'll still be here. I just gotta stop the camera. I gotta stand up for a minute. Oh,
Well, this is the first time that I've actually done it, and it pops up my channel
there
at
you
the
go.
top. Yeah, normally it wouldn't do that. And you'd have to sit there and just scroll, and then eventually you see like a little sliver of one of my channels.
Well, maybe because you've gotten more followers now and more videos out, maybe that's why you're starting to pop up more quicker.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because, like I said, initially when I first started my channel, it just wouldn't pop up. But then after a while, it would be like the first one up on there that would show on there. But then, there was a period where I took like a month off and I didn't post any videos.
Yeah.
And then it went back to, you'd have to scroll to find my channel again. So I must have pissed off YouTube or something because they wanted it. If you didn't put up a video every week or 2 weeks, maybe it was their way of punishing you. They're like, okay.
It might be. I mean, I can honestly say I don't put up a video every week. I used to put up one or at least a short. But the last couple of weeks, I put up a short video this week, but I hadn't done it for a couple of weeks in a row. But I always do my live stream. I almost always do a live stream. So, all the live streams what I enjoy the most anyway. I enjoy this back and forth and talking about things.
Well, that's one thing I haven't tried yet. And I keep telling myself, when I get over to the Philippines, I'm going to do a live stream. And then I get over there and then I'm too busy doing
Jamie to join you and do one together.
Yeah, he's mentioned that before. He's like, hey, we need to get together and do a live stream together, because and the guest house that we built, the second floor, Irene calls that my YouTube studio. So it's like, and I haven't even used it for anything related to YouTube.
Well, you're not busy. When you're there, you're busy with other things. Let's be honest about it. Once you settle down and you're retired over there, you'll start doing more. Like I said, it's going to be a month or two because you've got to get over that honeymoon phase.
Right.
Now I'm here, I got to settle in. And it's like I said earlier, I don't know if you were here when I said this. I know when I go to the Philippines, whether let's say I go to Manila or I plan on going to Cebu, but let's say wherever I go, when I first get there, it's going to be a honeymoon phase. I'm going to absolutely love it because I can honestly say I've lived in about 30 houses in my life. I lived in 18 by the time I was 12. I'm used to moving.
Right.
I've lived in 20 by the time I got out of the military, and I've lived in 10 about since I've been out here. All right. So I haven't moved a lot since I've been out here. Not for me. All right. I lived in one place for almost 15 years. So, I mean, I haven't moved a lot for me. But
now that I think about it, this is the longest that I've lived in one spot here.
Well, the place I had in Leroy before I moved down here, that's the longest I ever lived in one place in my entire life. That was about 15 years. I never lived anywhere that long. I can remember living in one place for a month. 1 month is all we lived there. We moved in, and this is when we first moved to Casey, Illinois. We moved in. My dad looked around and says, he goes, don't bother unpacking. We're not staying. It was just too small for us. And it was right on Main Street. And I said, no, this. And so they went out and found another place. And then a month later, like I said, we moved. And I lived in Casey, Illinois for 4 years. I mean, 2 years. 2 years exactly. We moved there on my sister's Ruth Ann birthday, and we moved out on her birthday 2 years later. and we lived in 4 houses. Like I said, the one was only a month. We lived in 4 houses in that 2 years. And but like I said, when I moved down here, I was absolutely loved. I just loved being down here. I still like it, but there's that honeymoon phase where it just, you know, you're just in love with the place.
Right.
And then after a month or two, that kind of wears down a little bit. Now do you like the place?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Well, now you're settled in. Now the newness is worn off. How do you like it? And so,
Right.
like I was telling Bruce earlier, I will probably sign a long-term lease in Cebu because I plan on either I'm going to fall in love with it even after the honeymoon period and just love it and want to stay there, or I'm going to use it as a home base to go check out places like Davao, go there for a week or two, come back, wait a month or so, then go to Iloilo, check it out for a week or two, come back, and then start going out and checking these other places out. And then
you might
say,
find
well,
some-
I like this place. I'll check it out better later, but I want to check this place out. And then weed it down to where you like 2 or 3 other places.
Right.
Then go spend some more time in those places and make your decision.
Yeah,
that's
a
my
good
plan.
idea.
But like I said, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, you know. But that's my plan.
And that's why I'm still here, Larry. I've been telling God my plans, and you know,
he's laughing.
He's like, "Yeah, right. Yeah, sure. You're gonna get over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay."
But
Keep dreaming,
so
man.
anyway, like I said, that's my plan. And when I get the chance to go over, that's what I'm going to try to do. But like I said, I don't plan on getting married. I'm not saying I won't get married. I don't plan on getting married when I first get over there. I don't plan on trying to find a girlfriend because I want to find where I want to live.
Yeah.
So like again, like I said, tell God your plan. That may not be what happens once you get there. You know, you might find a girl that you just decide you can't live without.
You might meet one on the plane over there. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Might meet one in line to get on the plane. You never know. You tell God one thing, he goes, "Yeah, right. Hold my beer. I'm going to change this one real quick." And
yeah, they say that's the
that
best.
just made me think of a country western song. I can't remember who sang it, but he says, I passed away and I dreamed of a place so divine. The water was clear and it tasted like beer. But he turned it into wine. Never got, what can I say?
Yeah, they say that's why you do that is get over there and get boots on the ground first, and then
I'm not going to do long distance. And there's a couple of reasons for it. The main reason is I don't know where I'm going.
True.
I don't want to say, hey, you know, now Crystal's married, but let's say Crystal's single and I start corresponding with Crystal and I pick her out because I know she's married. Her husband, Mark, is a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say Crystal and I start talking and we decide we want to get a long-term relationship going. Now, Crystal's going to want to know when I'm coming. And she has every right to want to know that. So let's say I say, well, I'll be there next year, but because I think, well, my mom will be dead by then, or I'll have the money by then. And something happens and you can't do it. So until I have an end date that I can say I'm going to be there and know I'm going to be there, I just can't see it. And even then, do you remember Leonard Lund?
Mm-mm.
All right. Leonard Lund was a good friend of the channel. And he had a girlfriend all set up, and he knew when he was going to the Philippines. He died.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away.
Wow.
Terrible thing. But I mean, I'm not saying I would pass away, but what happens if I have a health emergency that says, guess what, Larry, you can no longer move to the Philippines? Now, Crystal and I had been talking 2 years, let's say 3 years, whatever. Now, she just wasted 3 years of her life waiting on a guy that's never going to get there. You know, I understand people wanting to do it. I understand people doing it. I just don't want to put myself or somebody else through that. I'd rather wait till I get there. Now, like I said, hey, let's say I'm leaving that week. And I meet somebody online and it's like, all right, let's talk. She's in the city I'm going to.
Right.
That may be okay. I'm leaving, let's say, this month in 2 weeks, or this month. It's the end of the month. Okay, I'll start talking. I'm not making any commitments, but I'll start talking. But I don't plan on doing that either. But I'd be, like I said, if something happened, I would do it. But yeah, it just I would rather play cautious,
Right.
And like I said, I don't want to choose a place to live because of somebody else. And that's why I don't want to start a relationship. Another reason I don't want to start a relationship. And like I said, that can change once I get there, but I want to choose where I want to live than try to find somebody to live with me.
Right.
Yeah,
that's good.
Because let's say I get to Cebu and I decide I don't like it, but I like Davao. Well, the girl I'm with may not want to go to Davao.
Right.
So do I stay in Cebu to make her happy and make myself miserable if I really don't like Cebu? I would rather find where I want to live first if I can. But like I said, tell God the plan. And he may decide, no, we're doing it this way because I think you need to do it this way, Larry. We don't care what you think.
No, that's a good idea, Larry. That way you get.
Like I said, that's my plan. And you know how it is. Plans are always subject to change. But also myself personally, I prefer to date someone who's a little older, and I don't mean my age, but I don't want a girl in her teens or early 20s. I prefer somebody older. But there again, you may make that one girl that's in her 20s that just, you mesh completely, and so that could change there too. But I'm just saying, my plan that's not my plan.
Right.
I do plan on having an age gap, but I just don't plan on having that big of an age gap.
Well, over there, the age gap isn't that big a deal. I mean,
my mom and dad was 7 years. I got an aunt and uncle that was 10 years. A guy I work with, him and his wife is, 22 years or more. That's here in the States. I mean, and he's not rich. He's the trainer for security. So he makes decent money. Don't get me wrong. He makes more money than I make, including working and my Social Security. He makes more than that.
Right.
But so he makes decent money, but he's not rich by any stretch of the imagination.
As far as that age gap,
huh?
Yeah, as long as you guys are happy, as long as you're both happy.
Well, they're happy. They got a daughter that's a little over almost a year and a half old. So they've been married for a while. Like I said, and there's at least 22, not or more. I know he's at least 50 and she's 28. Whether there's more than age than that, because I don't know his exact age. I do know he's at least 50. Well, I told him, I'm old enough to be your dad. I said, I'm old enough to be your dad. He goes, oh, my mom's 73, so I'll give you that. His mom's 2 years older than I am.
Between me and Irene. I'm 55. I'm 55.
I see nothing wrong with an age gap of 20 years or a little more. I really don't. I don't see an age for me. I don't see a bad age gap of 40 years. I just don't want a 40-year age gap.
Right.
But if it happens, it happens.
Right.
But I don't see, as long as everybody's an adult, and I mean, not just an adult, but of mentally an adult as well. I mean, in other words, they're not mentally challenged or handicapped, mentally handicapped, however you want to say it.
Right.
In other words, as long as they're both considered adults, I don't care if there's 60 years between them. It's none of my business.
True. Like I said, as long as both people are happy, I mean, who cares?
As long as they treat each other with respect and love, and they're happy, enjoy your. It's like, I don't care. I got cousins that are black. I don't care.
Right. Yeah.
They're good people.
Right.
I get
Amen.
along with them quite well. Now, there are political differences, but I get along with them. Matter of fact, one of my cousins, her daughter, which is also my cousin, her middle child, and I share a birthday. We're both born on the same day of the year, September 16th. So I call her my birthday twin. And now her when she was a little girl, her mom is my first cousin's daughter, and then but her daughter, when she was a little girl, when one of my nieces were around, she'd call me uncle because she didn't have any uncles on the white side of the family. That on her mom's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
On her dad's side, she did. Her mom's dad and his brothers. But if she was around my family, which her dad's family, I was related to her mom. If they were around us, I would be the uncle when she was really little. Because the others were all calling me uncle, so she wanted to know if she'd call me uncle. I said, it's fine with me. I mean, that makes you feel good. Go ahead. Her daughters and I get along real well.
All right.
Whenever
That's
I'm home, they well, especially when they were younger, they wanted me to go. I go to church. The church they went to, I'd go to the church, and they wanted me to go down to Sunday school with them and stay with them instead of with the adults. Go down and play with them down there. So I did. I mean, it's fine with me. I don't get to see them that much. So, but yeah, matter of fact, when I went home this last time, I went home because it was a family reunion. That's why I went home in August. We're getting together with a lot of the cousins I don't get to see very much. Now I get to see them most of the time I go home, but there were some other cousins I don't get to see very often. And some of them I hadn't seen in years, and I mean years. And they could have walked up and hit me in the head, and I wouldn't have known they were related because it'd been that many years, Oh, yeah. I mean, some of these people I haven't seen 20 years or more, 30 years.
all right.
So it was really good to see them, These are relatives on my mother's side of the family. I'm not talking about her cousins now, her sisters and their kids. We all get together quite a bit. But their cousins outside, they don't get together very much. But my mom's brothers and sisters, their kids and us kids, we always get together every time we go home. So those first cousins, I'm a lot closer to. But the cousins on my grandmother's side, on my grandfather's side, they don't get together that much. And those some of those are first cousins. We just don't get together that much,
All right.
And a lot of them are just homebodies. They don't ever want to go anywhere. They don't want to do anything. Now you can go visit them, and they put you up all day and feed you and play cards and tell you to come back anytime. You tell them to come to your house. Oh, sure. They never come. They'll ask you if they see you, when you coming over? They don't want to go. They want you to come to their place. That's just the way they were or are. Yeah. So it was good to go home. Usually I wouldn't go home in August because that's a very hot time of the year back home.
Right.
Usually it's up in the 90s a lot and humid, kind of like the Philippines. But it was a good trip home.
There, gonna have to get used to that heat over there in the Philippines.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I just need to go back and live in Indiana for one summer.
or go down to
Florida, Texas.
Go down to southern Florida.
I got cousins down there. I could go down there and stay.
It's kind
of a cousin
kind of a mix between southern.
You know where Naples is at?
And Arizona mixture.
Yeah. You know where Naples, Florida is at?
My mom used to live down there around that area. She always used to talk about Naples and Homestead and
Well, I got cousins that live in Naples, first cousins. Matter of fact, my cousin posted online that she's safe because of the hurricane. She just posted not too long ago that her and her family safe. But I also got a nephew down in Florida somewhere. I'm not sure where he's at. I know my cousin's in Florida. He just moved down there. My oldest nephew just moved down there, and his wife last year. He had to retire. He was a lawyer, a labor lawyer.
Well, that poor Florida.
Yeah, he negotiated labor contracts all over the state of New York. But he's got some health problems, so he had to with his eyes, so he can't read the computers and stuff, and so he ended up just retired. He's in his mid-50s. That's all he is. And this is my oldest sister's oldest son. My oldest sister's 10 years older than I am, and so he went ahead and retired and moved to Florida. Him and his wife, both their kids were already in college, so they weren't living at home anyway. Both their oldest son now has graduated, and I think he lives in North Carolina, or he was the last I heard. And the youngest son's in North Carolina going to college. And Hillsborough, I think.
Well, Larry, I'm going to have to get off of here because I got to get around, and tomorrow's my 16-hour shift that I work. So
I like your ceiling fan. I wish I had one of those in my living room.
Oh yeah,
I like ceiling fans. I have fans, so I can put a fan on me, but I think a ceiling fan spreads the air around better. You know,
we got ceiling fans over there in the Philippines. We got we got ceiling fans in our guest house and over in the main house.
I got two fans in my bedroom, one right here at the computer, and then one for the bed. I haven't been using the fan on the bed here recently, but I got one in the living room. I took one to work. I got a couple sitting around not doing anything. I like fans.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, Irene, she won't turn on the air conditioner, when I'm away. She'll have it on when I'm there.
Oh, she used the fan at least?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she's kind of funny about that.
Yeah. Well,
Even
she's trying to save on the electric bill.
Yeah.
You got to remember now, a lot of Filipinos grew up without air conditioning, so they're used to it. I'm not saying it's good; they're used to it, so it doesn't bother them like it would you and I, because we grew up with air conditioners. Although I do remember times before. I'm old enough to remember before air conditioners. You know what you used to do during the summer before air conditioners? A lot of people sat on the front porch and talked to their neighbors, and the kids would play together. When I was a kid, that's what you did.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Almost. Now, remember, I'm talking 50s and early 60s. Most of the houses back in the 50s, and especially the early 60s, had porches.
We had a sprinkler outside.
Yeah, you'd run through the sprinkler. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They used to have the sprinkler that was a hose. If you remember those. It was a flat hose that laid out and they had little holes all throughout the hose.
Oh, yeah. I remember those too.
We'd run through those. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And but like during the summer months, the TV shows were all reruns. So you just sat outside on the porch. And if your fan would reach, you'd have your fan out there. You turn on the radio, listen to the radio, and your neighbors would either come over. Sometimes you're close enough, you just talk back and forth from their porches. The kids would be out in the front yard playing together. Oh, yeah. And things were a lot more civil back in those days, too, because neighbors knew each other.
All right.
I mean, I know my neighbor upstairs, and that's it.
Well, I grew up out in the country till, I was about 10 years old. And, we lived in a little single wide trailer house out there in the middle, out there in the country.
Yeah.
Boy, that thing, it get kind of hot in the summertime, boy.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, though, you'd go outside and sit in the shade.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you had neighbors, you'd talk with your neighbors and play together. And Now, see,
Yeah.
I'm a city boy or a big town boy, whatever you want to call it. I grew up that way. My dad grew up on a farm, but he didn't like farms, so we never lived on a farm. My cousin George lived on a farm, so I would visit their farm once in a while, and spend a couple of weeks at it. But I never really lived on a farm.
Well,
So
my
I always
dad,
grew up with my neighbors, right next door, and I knew their kids, and their parents knew me. And if I did something wrong, they'd tell my parents, and so you couldn't get away with anything. The whole neighborhood knew you.
well, my dad tried
Your
to
parents-
raise pigs, when I was little.
Yeah.
We tried to raise some chickens.
Yeah.
That
Well-
lasted for a short while.
My cousin George, his dad raised rabbits and chickens and that kind of stuff. But like I said, though, when I was younger, you got in trouble. Your parents knew about it before you got home, because somebody who knew your parents would see you, and they'd call your parents and rat on you. And that happened even when I lived in Illinois. I could be on the other side of town, but Illinois is only like maybe 5,000 people. If I did something wrong, my mom and dad would know about it before I got home.
Right.
So it kept you on the straight and narrow, and and everybody knows everybody. You try not to do things wrong too bad, because your parents would know about it. So that kept you a little more less rambunctious, a little more on the straight and narrow. But
Well,
all right,
like
now you have a good day at work tomorrow. I'm about ready to end this. We've been going about 3 hours now.
Yeah, that 16-hour shift, that's a long shift, man.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I worked 10 and I've pulled 16s more than once. Not the last job site before this one, but the job site before that one. In a month's time, I worked 4 16-hour shifts unscheduled.
Well, here lately, I've been doing, I've been doing 16-hour shift every Sunday for several years now.
Yeah.
But,
See, yours was scheduled. Mine would be somebody didn't show up, and I just have to stay for a double shift.
Well, at my full-time job, I work a minimum of 3 12-hour shifts. But here lately, I've been picking up 4 and 5. So,
That
yeah,
gives you that much more money.
I've been getting in about 76 hours a week. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, just remember that just that much nicer of a truck.
That's what I'm saving up for right now, is for that damn
As I
truck.
said, I know what you're saying for. So that much more of a nicer truck, and that much more to put down on it, if not pay it off.
All right.
If you
Yeah,
can
I
pay it
don't
off
want
all at once, you're better off.
Yeah, I don't
It's
want
like-
no truck payment.
It's like these guys that live on these small budgets. I don't know if you want to. There's a channel called Expense Expat. It's X then pensive.
Mm-hmm.
His monthly budget for living, not travel or anything, just his monthly budget to pay his rent, buy his groceries and everything, is like $600 a month or a little over. But he
I
found
think
a place.
I may have seen him on there before.
But he found a place that he got a 5-year lease on it. And it's like, I think it's less than $85 a month. And then he dropped a couple thousand into it and fixed it up the way he wanted it.
Yeah, I think I've seen him before. Yeah.
And so he's saying now, if he didn't want to travel around and just wanted to live there and go into town, get his food and do that kind of stuff, this is what he spends. He says, I got more money than that coming in, and that's what I use to travel. He says, but I couldn't live on just this if I wanted. He says, now, you wouldn't be able to do anything with just that, but if you're happy with it, you can do this.
Right. And he probably makes money off his YouTube channel, so he's probably just living off.
Not when he first started posting. He didn't have enough followers when he first started posting.
Huh.
Now, like he said, though, he had a lot more money than that coming in, and he uses that money to travel. But he was showing, I got a 5-year lease on this place, and he showed what it was before he started fixing it up. He's got a video showing what it looks like.
All right.
And then he shows what he does, and he shows it being as it's going along what's done, and he tells you what it cost him. But he's got a 5-year lease locked in at that one price, whatever that price is. And I want to say it's $85. It might be less. It may be less than that. I know it's not more than that. And he says, now you figure out what I spent to fix it up the way I want. Over 5 years, I'm still paying less than a couple hundred a month or less.
Right.
I can't remember what it was, but he tells you, he says, now I go into town. Here's where I shop. You can go here. And he said, now if you can spend more, because you can go there and get it, but if you don't, you can come here. And he shows you, he says, now this is what, my monthly living expenses is $600 a month. Now that's my living expenses, he says. So if that's all you want to do, you can do it.
Right.
But now if you want to do more than that, you got to have more money.
Yeah.
And he does honestly say, I have more money, I do more stuff.
Yeah.
But if I had to, I could do this on just this. But I can't go do this other stuff. So
Right.
he's being honest about all of it.
Right.
And so I follow him on my on Ninja channel. I follow him on my Ninja channel, and he doesn't post, but maybe he doesn't post a lot. He really doesn't.
Right. If all you got to live on is your Social Security, I mean, what better place than the Philippines? I mean,
that's all I'm going to have is my Social Security.
I mean, and you can live
like
good.
Said, yeah, but like I said, I that's why I want to work as long as I'm going to work after I get these bills paid off, so I can have that emergency fund. It will be enough money that if I had to, I could go a year without a check coming in.
Nice.
I want that much money back.
That's awesome.
Now I won't go that year without a check coming in, because if it gets real bad, I'm going to leave before the money runs out.
Right. Right.
But I want to be able to go a few months, like something going on. I got to get it straightened out. The money's already in my savings account, my checking account, whatever. I can get that money out because that's mine. But if they're not putting more money in, then that's where I want to get that straightened out. And I want enough money to survive a few months while I'm straightening it out. And plus, I have the emergency money if I have to come back home.
True.
So like I said, that's my plan. That's why I got to do it as long as I got to work after I get the bills paid off, because I want that build up. I want that safety net, because as you know, there is no safety net in the Philippines for us. We got to have our own safety net.
Oh yeah, you got to create your own.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I got to take that long to work.
Right.
And because like I said, otherwise I could just work a couple of months. If I didn't have to worry about a safety net, because I could sell my furniture, my car, get enough money for the plane ticket over.
Right.
And then have a couple of months, I could go over there and set up. But what happens if something goes wrong? That's not enough money.
Right.
And so.
Yeah, got.
Like I've been checking out bloggers that moved over there and talk about what you need, you ever watch the Filipino Info channel?
Yeah, every once in a while. I haven't.
The name's going to change to Asian Info Channel or something like that, because somebody else is going to take it over.
Oh, okay.
But Steve, that's the guy that runs it right now. At the end of the month, it'll be changing over. But Steve, now he does I'll tell you in a minute. He does a budget, and he's saying, the sweet spot budget, you need $2,000. But if you look at the way he lives Western food, Western everything.
Right.
All right. So yeah, you need more money to live that way. I'm not going to live the way he lives. Now, he does have a cheap place to live in, but he does not eat any Filipino food at all. It's all Western food. And that costs you a lot more money.
Yeah, it's a little expensive after a while.
And then he likes to go out and do things more than probably what I will.
Right.
But I will go out and do things, but I don't think I'll do it as much as he does.
Right.
So, and then when he says to $2,000, he's talking about that he includes what you got to save as part of your budget.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get into it with him, but I just had a big disagreement in my mind. It's like, no, you don't need that much money. This is all you need to live.
Right.
But I was keeping the savings separate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about my budget is what I'm going to spend to live, and he's talking about the whole thing.
Right.
And once I got my mind wrapped around the difference, like, okay, you don't need that much, but yeah, you need close to it. You know, depending on how you want to live. I won't live the way he lives. I'm not going to be eating Western food. Don't get me wrong. I'll probably have some every week, but it's not going to be every meal.
Right.
You know, and I'll cook more probably than some people do. I'm not going to go out for every meal, even though I'm single. I'll cook. And I'll probably get a coffee pot and sometimes have my coffee at home if I got a nice place to sit and enjoy it.
Or, you know,
But that's probably what I'll spend most of my money on is going out for coffee or something like that.
Yeah, if you live in the city, you can always go down to those markets down there. You know, eat some of the street food, which is really good.
Well, not when I first get there. I'm going to have to let my system adjust a little bit first. But I mean, you can go there and get your vegetables. You know,
Right.
buy your vegetables. You don't have to go to Landers or what's the other one? They got two over there. Landers is one of them, but they got the the Western type food. You don't have to. That's where he does all his shopping. You don't have to do all your shopping there. You go to the shopping mall in the store or the mall.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a cross between the local and the Western, but it's cheaper than the Western, a little more expensive than the market. But I would trust the meat from there, especially when I first get there, more than I would the market. Because in the market, you need to be there early in the morning. I don't know how early I'm getting up. Because the later you get up, the longer that meat's been out. Now, if you live there all that time, your body's used to it. But when you first go there, we're not used to that.
Right.
So I'll buy my meat. I'll probably pay more for my meat, but my vegetables, I'll buy that off the street, no problem.
Right.
You know, you don't buy vegetables in the refrigerator section unless you're buying frozen. Anyway, if you're buying fresh, you don't get them in the refrigerator system.
True.
And so yeah, the vegetables I have no problem. But I'll tell you one market I really would love to visit, and that's only going to happen if I go over to Dumaguete, is the Valencia market. They have a Sunday market, and I would really love to see that one. They got you can go in. They got food. They cook up food. They got cotton candy. They got balloons. They got all kinds of stuff. And that's the normal market. Not even when the festival season's around, then it's got a lot more. But they got people that you can go in. You can buy sausages of different types of sausages. They have sandwiches they'll cook up right there, and you can sit there and eat, which is probably what I would do. If I was going to eat street food, it'd probably be at something like that.
You got to be careful when you eat some of those places because there's been times where it's been raw in the middle, you know.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this has been going on long enough. There's enough expats that go there that I've seen it that I would trust it, you know, compared to walking down the street and seeing a street vendor that I've never seen before.
Right.
You know, now if they now certain kinds of food there I would eat anyway. You know, but there's certain foods I probably wouldn't.
All right.
Because, you know, like I said, some of the meat, how long has it been setting out before they cook it, you know? And like I said, when you live there all your life, you're used to that. And so your body has built up a tolerance for those bacteria.
Yeah.
Where yours and our body hasn't built that tolerance. It may build it up eventually, but it's not when we first get there.
Yeah, it's crazy how they do stuff there. You know, like even the families, you know, they'll leave stuff out overnight.
Well, yeah,
you know,
yeah. Like I said, for you and I, we can't do that.
Well, they'll leave late John. Leave all this pork out overnight. I'm like, what the hell are you guys thinking?
They just do it. Like I said, you and I, that would not be good for us because our body's not used to it.
Or, you know, we'll have a celebration. And you know, I mean, the celebration, they'll start bringing in food, you know, several hours before the actual
It'll set out on the table, yeah.
and it'll just sit out there in the open, you know, for hours and hours and hours. I'm like, I don't know about this. You know, it's been sitting there for a minute.
Yeah, but like I said, it's their body's used to that. They built their system has built up a tolerance to whatever bacteria it creates. Where yours and ours hasn't. It will eventually if we keep eating it, but it's going to mess with our system when we first start doing it.
Right. Yeah, me and my buddy were talking about that today.
Yeah.
He's
so yeah, like I said, so it's something that's what I got to worry about when I first get there as well.
right.
So I don't think I'll do too much street food when I first get there, unless it's something like fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, you know, Irene and I, we go to those street market, you know, food places, you know, where they cook it right there in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, we'll go out, we'll go to one of those places every time I've come out there, and I haven't had any problems, you know. You know, I haven't had any. Yeah,
but like I said, it depends on how quick you get there, how fresh. Did they have that meat refrigerated, or did they freshly kill it just a short time before? Do they cook it thoroughly?
But I mean, she'll walk around.
Once you find a good street vendor, you got to stay with them because you know you can trust them.
I mean, she'll walk around, and I'm thinking, well, what's wrong with the ones that you did? You know, the 5 you just passed. You know, and she'll be looking around. I think maybe she has a technique to finding fresh food. I guess I don't know.
Like I said, and it may also be that she knows certain vendors better than others, and she trusts them more.
I mean, this will be like in Davao, or you know.
Okay, maybe she does have. Maybe they, you know, have that innate ability because they've been doing it for so long.
Right.
You know,
and yeah,
I mean, it's just second nature.
Huh.
But, yeah.
Yeah, she must be looking for something that I'm not aware of.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like a fish. I guess the eyes tell you how fresh it is.
Right.
I'm not a fish eater, so I don't care. But I mean, if I was going to start eating fish, I would pay attention. All right, now if they're kind of milky, that means they've been there a while, right? Don't want that. We want the clearer eye.
And
those eyeballs. Like I said, with meat, the earlier you get to the market, the better off you are.
Be like, oh, those fish eyes are hanging out. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Yeah. Well, like I said, though, if you're going to go to the market, the meat market, or what they call the wet market, you want to get there early. The earlier you get there, the better off you are because of less chance of being bacteria added to it. You get it, you buy it, you go home and refrigerate it.
Yeah, well, you know, we've been to the wet market several times. You know, every time, like I said, every time we go out there, we hit the wet market too, and it's interesting. All yeah, I got I think one video I took, you know, a couple of years ago or so, but yeah, it's interesting for sure.
The CBGB says fish eyes have cataracts. That's when they're probably milky eye, so they're milky eye. Don't eat them. See, now the only fish I like is tuna.
Now they got really good.
There's some fish they have there I've never tried, so I may like those. But all the fish I've eaten, I don't like salmon. I don't like cod. I don't like catfish.
There's a really good restaurant there in Davao, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's like tuna.
Davao is one of the places that if I decide to move out for me, is one of the places I want to check out. I like the fact they got the 911 system. It's a little more spread out, so you'll probably have to use public system more. Public transportation, I mean more.
Right.
Unless you want to spend a little more to be in a condo close to one of the malls, which I don't think I'd want to do that. I know me, I probably wouldn't want to do that. I might, but I don't see myself wanting to spend that kind of money.
Right. Yeah, they're building malls. They're building some condos right next to the SM Mall there in Davao.
You know, as I said, they do have them next to the malls, and where it costs you money, a little more money, but how much time and travel does it save you? Is it worth the extra money to live right next to it, or is it worth saving the money and live a little farther out? That's something you have to debate among yourself.
Right. True.
It's something you have to decide. It's like I don't think I would live in one of the what they call mega worlds. There's one in Iloilo, I think. There's one in Iloilo, and there's one in Bacall. Somebody said there's one up around Manila somewhere.
Okay.
But those are a little more expensive because everything's right there. Everything's walkable.
All right.
And they're geared towards the western person, south, living. All right.
Right.
So I don't think I'd want to live in there because it's going to cost more than I want to spend.
All right.
I don't want to spend a third of my check or more on an apartment. Okay. Now I may end up having to spend about a third of my check. And if I do, I do. But I don't want to spend that much unless I have to.
Right. Yeah, you wouldn't want to move to BGC then.
Oh no, I'm not living. No way. BGC or Makati, either one. No, that'd be almost 2/3 of my income
Right.
for a good place.
That's a bit expensive. Sure. But
that would be your apartment and food and nothing else. That's
right.
what that would be for me. My apartment, my food, and staying home. I might as well live here. Because here I can move into a senior housing and get help from the federal government.
Right.
I just don't want to do that because I don't want the government to tell me how to spend my money.
Right. Right.
When you live in senior housing, they base it on your income. All right. So the more money you got, they count what money you have in your bank as your income, whether it's income or not. Your savings counts towards what they're going to charge you for rent.
Huh.
So in other words, if you have so much money I don't think they count all of them, but if you have what they consider more than enough, it's like, all right, my mom's in a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
If she has so much money in her bank account, she loses a lot of her benefits. So you have to spend so much money every month to keep her underneath that.
Right.
For her, and you spend it on her, but you got to do it. Otherwise, she ends up losing money. Because what they take away will cost her more than what they took away. But
right.
And it's the same thing. It's just the government controls it.
Right.
And believe me, I mean, it's worth it if you need what my mom needs. It's worth it.
You be sticking it underneath your mattress.
Yeah.
Taking it out and put the money underneath your mattress.
Yeah, except for they'd probably check that going down.
Come in and rate
like I said, though, you take the money, you buy her something that she could use, or she wants, maybe buy her some flowers and stuff, just spend it on something. And then you can show, hey, look, this is what I spent on. It's for her. And you keep it under a certain amount. My younger sister takes care of all that. She's the one that handles the finances.
Right.
And so she lets us know that, hey, I had to buy this because, mom's over that. So, or, hey, we need to get this for mom, and I need this much money from each one of you. Mm-hmm. We send her the money. Like I said, I mean, but like I said, she's 98 going on 99. What else are you going to do?
Right.
And my cousin George went and visited her this last week, and he was real happy because my mom, like I said, she's got dementia. Okay. So she has good days and bad days. And when he was in there visiting a friend's who was had an operation, had to go in for rehabilitation. I mean, they weren't going to be there long term, but they had to go in there for treatment after the surgery. And then there was somebody else in there they knew that was in there long term. And my mom's in the same nursing care. And my mom, they have this bird cage. My mom loves to sit in front and watch the birds. And he happened to see my mom, and he walked in and said, "Hi, Betty." And she turned around and said, "Hi, Georgie." He never told her name, so she recognized him right away. And it took her a moment to recognize his wife, but she recognized her. And they sat there and had a good 10, 15-minute talk. And she was very lucid and happy to see him. And she was really having a great day. She was energetic and feeling good. And so I was real happy that he got to see her on one of those days, because my last day, she kept saying, "Now, who are you?" "I'm your son, Mom. I'm your son, Larry." Now, usually she would remember me, but the last time, like I said, it was a little bit more difficult. But my sisters, who she lived with, were visiting her one time, and somebody came in. I don't know if it was one of the nurses or somebody else. They came in, and my mom couldn't remember who my sisters were, so she said, "These are my friends, not my daughters. These are my friends," because she couldn't remember. So she has her good days and bad days.
Right.
And I'm glad he got to visit her on a good day.
Yeah.
And, like I said, most of the time she remembers me. And when I go back in the next day, she may not remember I was there the day before, but she remembers me. And sometimes she remembers. Like I said, so with me, it's most of the time I'm lucky enough she knows who I am. But like I said, the last time she kept asking me who I was. And so I didn't stay real long. It was just not a good day. I stayed and talked with her, and then she was wanting to go to sleep, so I just let her go to sleep. And what else you gonna do?
Right.
But
right.
I know you got to get going, so we're gonna let you go. And I'm glad you came
You're a
up.
talker, Larry.
Oh, I always talk.
You got that gift of gab, man.
Oh yeah, I can't help that. I was born with it. And now when I was a kid, when I first met you, I'd be bashful. All right, until I got to know you. Once I got to know you, I was a ham. I was a cut up. And I'm talking about back when I was 10 years and younger. My kindergarten teacher thought I was an angel. No teacher after her ever thought that. Yeah, I was very shy when I first started school. So, but like I said, I got over that. But I am a talker. What can I say? And that's why I like the live streams. It really is. I like talking. I like having people like yourself or Bruce or Dan or somebody come up and talk with me. I enjoy that. No problem, Rachel. No problem. Rachel's thanking me because I gave him a blue jacket. Gave him a standard monetary. But
all right,
anyway,
Larry, I got to get off here, man.
I know, that's what I said. I'm gonna have to be. I've been going almost 3.5 hours. But like I said, if I don't have somebody come up and talk with me, I don't go as long. I mean, back when I first started, I could go this long by myself.
Yeah.
But then I started having Leonard come up, and we'd go 4, 5, 6 hours, just the two of us. But been cutting back on it a lot.
Well, you have a good one, and I'll see you.
Hopefully, we'll see you next Saturday. If not, you have a good one. We'll see you later.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Tell Irene hi.
All right. We'll do. Take care now.
All right. And all right, everybody. Unless somebody else wants to come up, I'm going to be shutting this down here shortly. Like I just said, I've been going about 3.5 hours, which I can do. That's not a problem. I can go longer. But when I'm talking to myself, it's not as entertaining. At least I don't think it is. And but I want to thank everybody for coming. And remind you, I'll be doing this again next week on Saturday, unless something happens. And we'll do it all again. You're all welcome to come. And any one of you that want to come up and talk, you're always welcome to click on that link above at the top of the chat and join me. And you can talk about your channel. We can talk about something else if that's what you want to talk about. If you're planning on going to the Philippines, or if you're in the Philippines and you want to talk about that, that's fine. If you're in the States and you want to talk about the area you live in, that's fine. I happen to be from Indiana, but I live in New York now. I live right outside of Albany, New York, which is the capital district. But I have lived in the Rochester, New York area. I've also lived in Terre Haute, Indiana. I lived in Illinois. I was in the Navy out in California and Washington State. So I've been different places. I've lived quite a few different houses, and I do like to travel. And like I said, my plan is to, when I retire, to go to the Philippines, hopefully in less than 2 years. But if it's longer than that, so be it. Like I said, some of you that weren't here, but I'm not going anywhere till my mother passes away. She's 98. My sisters all know my plan is to go to the Philippines. They all know it, and they know they're not going to stop me. A couple of them are all for it and wish me the best, and a couple of them are worried because they're worried they're not going to see me again when I go. And that may happen, it may not. But I can't live my life for somebody else. I got to live my life for me. I've gotten to the point where I want to retire, and as long as I stay in the States, unless I want the government to control me, I got to go somewhere else. I was not really very intelligent with my money when I was younger, so I did not prepare myself for retirement. And so I have to do what I got to do to retire, and that's moving out of the country. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and shut this one down. I want to thank you all for coming. And remember now to be kind to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun. Bye, everyone. Take care.